Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Nielson Show on this Friday morning. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage with you right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, along with YouTube Trev, who's in the groove. Woo.
Yeah, that was, oh gosh, that was the last second song, but we found one, and it works.
Well, we could have played the 6 o'clock anthem, couldn't we?
I thought I had it, but I couldn't find it. So that's why we resorted to that one last second.
That's all right.
The boys take their toys every time they go away. But here we are, Nasties. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the Nielson Show. Hope everyone has had a great week. We're back from Las Vegas. The boys, I think they got in last night. I got home yesterday morning. I had a quick visit with my brother in Calgary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And my parents wanted to see him as well, so I had a chance to do that. And I have a story that I want to share, and a big shout-out and conch to give out to someone who saved my behind. Yeah, so we'll get to that. Bless you, Trev.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Let her go,
You're
Trev.
okay
Don't keep those in.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I sneeze so much in this dang studio. It's been really bad, so sorry about that.
Don't be sorry. Anyway, so I got in about, 2 o'clock yesterday. It was good.
Yeah?
It was good. Roads were good. Everything was good.
I know you hear this a lot, but
how was the trip?
Yeah. Was it as good as it seemed on the channel? Like watching?
Yes.
Like you guys were having way too much fun. You could have toned it down a few notches.
Well, I mean, I had small windows where I could go and turn it up to like 7. I couldn't get to 11. I wish I could have, but it was, the boys also had, I think they had prolonged pockets where they could enjoy. I had all of Tuesday was a work day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they were doing the morning shows and the hangout and all of that. But, mine was more broken up. But it was good. The vibe was good. You could start to see the Super Bowl stuff taking over. But early in the week, it was quieter. And then by Wednesday, it was like, you're like, oh, it's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's heating up. Bellagio had, like, CBS was setting up in the fountains. And they had all their trucks up the driveway up to the entrance at Bellagio. And then there was like this huge chocolate football at the front of Aria. And they're like, there is X amount of pounds of chocolate, pure milk chocolate to make this regulation. There are 5 times or whatever the hell it was, the regulation size football. I'm like, wow, that was a waste of chocolate. Waste of chocolate. It was good. So the boys had some fun. I caught up with them a little bit, but not as wild as maybe people would think it would get.
No, I figured it wouldn't be completely off the rails. There was some early mornings, and with the time change, that can make that makes a little bit of a difference. But
I think Eric the first day did not get any sleep. I think
he just ran through.
Yeah, he ran right through because it was a 4 a.m. start over there when they had to get up. And then on the air by 5. And I think the first night, Eric, they went to the Sphere. The show that they went to was at 10:30.
Really?
It's like an hour and a half long show, and then you finally get back to the hotel.
Oh, and
then you're having a beverage or two,
Yeah.
and then I think Eric just had a quick cat nap.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, we ran into a lot of Oiler fans. There was a lot of disappointment after the loss.
Was there?
Yeah, and you could tell it kind of sucked the wind out of the sails of everybody. On top of the fact that it was cold and rainy that night too.
Yeah, no, it felt there was so much hype up to this game. The break, the streak, everyone was really happy going into this game, and then it was a great game though. I don't know why people took away so many of the negatives of losing that game rather than saying, you know what, that could have gone either way. I forget the play. There was one play by one of the D-men, I forget who, it was a wide open net. D-man came out of nowhere and got his stick on it. I mean, it was on a razor's edge. It was the second period, I think.
Was it the McLeod opportunity?
I think it was.
That, yeah.
And the stick came out of nowhere and it went out of play. And I mean, that right there, boom, that changes the whole complexity of the game there. So no, I enjoyed watching that game. I was pumped up for it because it was just, it seemed like such an important game. In the grand scheme of things, It's not that big a deal.
They get a chance to town for it tonight in Anaheim, take it on the Ducks, and then, of course, it's the LA Kings tomorrow. We'll be on the air with the Oil Stream pregame show. You are joining us tonight?
I'll join.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. They had a bit of a respite in Palm Springs the last couple of days. And
how great has this Oilers schedule been up to this point?
Well, now it gets busy.
Well, I know, but really, it was set up for them to really put themselves in a good position, which they have. Yep. But with a normal start, I mean, they're probably pushing. I mean, everything.
They're right there with Vegas.
They are. They're. I think they'd be closer to the Canucks at this point.
They might be. Canucks losing to Boston yesterday.
I mean, this has been a sweetheart schedule for what was supposed to happen. I think you couldn't have asked for a better schedule up to this point.
Yeah, and you know what? They've been very, 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 very good.
Yeah,
in the last couple of months. A little bit of a setback the other night in Vegas. They have a chance to bounce back. 8 o'clock tonight, they take on the Anaheim Ducks. We'll be on the air with the Oil Stream pregame show, 6:30 p.m. Myself, Joaquin Gage, and YouTube Trev. We're doing a split shift today, boys. As always, in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio here at EST Global HQ. And you can join the conversation, as always, 780-218-9999, or get at us in the nasty chat. We're going to get to some contra quests, too. Get those in. Joe Belinaski said, glad they're taking my suggestion to put all the songs and sounds on a Google Drive for all the show hosts to have access to. As you know, Joe, that has not occurred. It was in our last meeting, though. Trev's just nodding. He's like, I know. I don't have it, but I know. Oh, yes. Northside Adam says, work it, Tubby. And Jibbo, thank you, Jibbo. It's totally partial what you said, but it's not everyone's favorite EST host. It's just one of the awesome hosts that we have and one of the great analysts / co-hosts that we have in Joaquin Gage. It's Friday. I feel like the vibes are generally good. People can look past. You talked about the negativity of the post-game and how people were so harsh on the Oilers in that loss. I think it's kind of like subsided now, right? Like everybody got that pent up. Well, I've got to complain about something out of their system. Dusty was talking about it the other day.
Yeah, I think there's a tendency to let that build up and not have something for everything to go so right for so long. I guess it was a little bit therapeutic for people to start complaining about things again. But no, man, that's an historic streak.
Yep,
16 wins in a row. You know what's like seeing the frustration of some of the players afterwards. You know, it wasn't just, okay, well, we lost this one. They were visibly mad that they lost that game, especially Connor, right? So you don't see that. Sometimes he holds those kinds of emotions back, you see, most of the time. So that's a good sign too. How they react, I'm curious to see the first 10 minutes of this game to see what happens.
I think they just go balls to the wall.
I would assume that the taste of losing isn't something that they've experienced with their taste buds in recent months.
December 19th.
Yeah, crazy. So you always hear, and I know it's in the dressing rooms, good teams don't lose two in a row. No. And that's one of the mantras I think that would be traveling through the team over the last few days.
Yeah, even Reaper says it. Nothing to complain about after 16 straight. People take away the negatives because they have a negative perspective. Always focusing on the bad things and always complaining. Sometimes, Reaper. Sometimes. But, yes, a chance to start a new streak tonight in Anaheim. Get at us in the Paris Jewelers inbox. It's almost Valentine's Day, right around the corner, so time to find something for the one you love at Paris Jewelers. Canadian and family-owned with 22 locations across the country. Go see our friends at PJ's. They'll look after you, or you can hop online at parisjewelers.com. Motorsports.com. Mike Johnson will be joining us today, as well as old Redbeard himself, Scott Laurie. And then the boys, I think, are back in studio today for the hangout. We'll have an oil stream, and we'll also have the lock shop as well. So we're getting back into the swing of things. It was fun to take the show on the road. It really was.
Yeah,
Thank you to the YEG, EIA, and for them setting it up, getting the boys down there. I tagged along. I hopped on that one. So, but yeah, it was good to be back on the road, Joaquin. I'll say that.
I was, I was excited for you guys to see if it all worked. I was like, oh gosh, I hope that everything works out right. A couple audio issues at times, but
I heard about those.
It was weird. It sounded like that it was that beeping from the beginning of the show. Some of the so it was like, oh, okay, and then but it got ironed out, which was fine. And but the realizing the ability to go to different places to do the show, I think that's encouraging for future. I don't want to say anything, but there are a few F1 races that we could do the show from.
Well,
we're going to talk about.
You might be onto something, Joaquin. You might be onto something. Get those catch requests in 780-218-9999. And all right, yeah. So we'll get to Johnny. Obviously, things are going to be heat up in terms of trade deadline and what are the Oilers going to do. Yesterday, watching the Insiders, they always start with the Oilers. Okay, there's always Oilers chatter on Insiders if you watch on TSN, and then permeates over to Sportsnet. You know why? Because Oiler fans eat that up.
They do. Yeah.
And it's strategic, it's smart, and Ken Holland calls on everybody. So, but there has been some chatter, and we can get to that.
He's always on the phone, man.
Yeah, man.
I remember seeing him at City Center Mall on the phone. I think I told this before.
What was he getting? New York fries?
No, he was walking down the halls on his phone. I knew he was talking to something important.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to trail him, a little bit cloak and daggerish.
Oh, yeah.
So he looked behind him, and I ducked behind a pillar so he wouldn't see me. Not that he'd recognize me anyway, but I was getting closer and closer, and I think he felt my presence, and he ducked into the Shoppers Drug Mart. And so I waited. I went in, and somehow he snuck back out. I think he realized I was trying to hear who he was talking to and what he was talking about. But
I like this.
Yeah, no, I didn't get any juicy stuff. But he phones everyone and inquires.
Maybe his wife just needed snacks from Shoppers.
Could have been. Just maybe he's looking at future vacuum sales back in Vernon when all this is said and done. I don't
think he needs to ever do that again. But touche, great story. Someone. Jimbo's saying, is it the real conch? Trev, is it the real conch?
No, it's my real conch.
Okay.
It's kind of the greasy one is what we have today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. Wait. Can I just give a shout out?
Of course.
The conch goes out to Sanjay at Switching Gears in Innisfail for making sure that everything ran safely and smoothly with my vehicle. First time ever. There was an issue. I had taken it in before I was driving around, hitting the highway last week. Something went wrong. I'm not putting the blame on anybody, but Sanjay fixed it. So a YouTube Trev conch to Sanjay at Switching Gears in Innisfail.
of the conversation. It was good.
When I was leaving Wednesday night, they were having a good afternoon.
Yeah.
They were having a nice afternoon. It almost felt like they had, you're not quite done.
Yeah.
But you're getting there, and it's like almost like a midweek Friday, if you will.
Yeah.
And by the time I left them, I was like, okay, get some rest, boys. They're like, oh, we're going to be fine. And then they went for a nice dinner. I think they went to P.F. Chang's, and I feel like they might have had a libation or two.
I don't get it. It's
What?
It's like going to Italy and hitting the Olive Garden, Tommy. It's like, come on.
We have a Changers here, don't we?
I know. It's actually, I went there. I was excited but underwhelmed.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like it there.
Yeah. Okay.
Joel says no volume on that conch.
Yeah, I also didn't have volume, so but we're good. We're good. Yeah, you guys heard it? I don't know. I didn't
in my
hear it.
ear. Yeah,
Maybe it was just for us. That's
thank
okay.
you.
Thank you.
And for Sandra.
Apparently, some people heard it, but yeah, all of a sudden, I don't know. That messed with our audio, I guess, because people are saying. But it's back now, so we're good.
Love it. This one from Library Pat via the text line, Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Tommy, has there been any thought of sending you on the road for other games in the future? So many outlets don't send reporters on the road anymore. I know it's all money, but it'd be cool to see an EST mic in a road game scrum. Library Pat, it was in the scrum there in Vegas. And I don't know, it's situational. It is so expensive to travel and to cover the Oilers. And they're good when you're there, but they're not going to go out of their way to accommodate traveling media. And I knew that even when I was traveling with them. Like, you're on their schedule. So, Library Pet, potentially playoffs, maybe, but you're right, it does come down to dollars and sponsorships and stuff like that. But we know we can do it now.
Yeah.
And it was, I thought pre and post game was smooth. Somebody did not need to wear a Vegas Golden Knights hat off the top of the show.
Yeah. That was going one of either two ways, and it didn't go as planned, I don't think. Yeah, that's
no. I've been meaning to speak to him.
Yeah. I mean, even the alumni room at the games, like if I have a guest at the Oilers game, they can't wear any other team's apparel,
it's
right?
A courtesy.
You don't do that. I guess it was funny because I think Sean Brown was telling me a story. He was a little worried because he had some old friends, and I think some old players or management from the OHL were in town, and they said come in, and they were wearing like Leafs stuff, and it was like, so. I mean, it wasn't his fault because he said, "Yeah, come on in," and then all of a sudden they took off their coats and had Leaf stuff on, and you just don't do it.
And you know what, Gager? Speaking of that, like especially when I was with Oilers TV, they would always give us like Oilers golf shirts and stuff like that, and they'd say, "Hey, you can wear this to work." I'm like, I can't wear. I'm a suit guy. Like, we're professional here. Let's maintain a certain standard. And then we would go to like Miami for a draft, or Pittsburgh, and it's 35 degrees and muggy, and Jack Michaels' sweaty nipples and sweaty armpits. And so I finally, a couple years in, I go to my boss. I'm like, we need golf shirts. And he goes, what do you think about just wearing the ones the team gives us? And I was like, I don't think that's good etiquette. Going into visiting team rooms with
your Oilers stuff.
Yeah. So I clamored for, and I managed to get us Oilers TV apparel. And I think it even lasted a year or two after I had gone to TSN. And then now they don't. They just wear Oilers stuff. And it's kind of like, meh, you shouldn't do that. But other teams do it as well.
Oh, do they?
But it's a courtesy thing. Like, you're literally in the other team's facilities, locker room.
Yeah, it's like wearing a jersey in there. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I know. But I think it was a bigger deal in years past, whereas now people kind of look past it.
That's fine.
It's interesting. But anyway, this one for you. Paris Jewelers inbox. Nick from St. Albert wants to know, hey, Gager, speaking of F1, when do the car reveals start happening? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Nick.
They've already happened. Alpine's out. Haas is out. The Sauber. We just saw Sauber.
Is that?
That's the old Alfa Romeo. Looks good. Looks good. It was green.
Sauber now?
Yeah, it looks really good. The biggest thing is, I mean, it's been a wild couple weeks for Formula One here.
Right.
Especially with Christian Horner. I've been trying to find different things, and it seems like he's acted inappropriately. It sounds like he Brett Favre'd someone in the organization or something like that. So
he's got Ginger Spice with him.
Exactly. And
she's lovely.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And they're having a hearing today. It's more of an interview to talk to Christian Horner. But, I mean, obviously they add a little bit to it. But there's a possibility that he could leave as team principal for Red Bull.
Wow. And
that's huge. The ramifications for that are massive because of, and I know I'm going down the rabbit hole here, but Adrian Huey, who's kind of the godfather of aerodynamics is how he's referred to, and he was poached way back when by Christian Horner from McLaren to come over and has started to develop this Red Bull car that what you see is so dominating right now. And there's a clause in the contract, I guess, is if Christian Horner leaves, then Huey also has the option to leave with that kind of no-compete clause, some to speak. So now they're all saying that he would go to Ferrari and join Lewis next year and help develop that Ferrari car. So
interesting.
Very interesting. So it's kind of taken all the heat from Lewis joining Ferrari in a year's time, which is fascinating. And I understand why Lewis kind of went. Ferrari is they showed, like, I went through some video footage of the factory, and it's Enzo way, and it's all old Italian.
Whoa. You watch your mouth.
No, it's like architecture.
Yes.
It looks, there's definite history in that factory, right? So there's something to be said of wearing the red and walking through the hallowed halls of the Ferrari factory and things like that. And I guess what it came down to was Lewis's ambassadorship. And why wouldn't you want Lewis Hamilton as your ambassador? Mercedes wanted to wait till 2035 or something like that. So didn't make sense.
Wow, that is pretty cool. Not the Christian Horner stuff, but is he the most powerful principal in F1, or is it Toto? Is Zach Brown kind of creeping up there, or am I off my rocker?
Yeah, if I look at all of them, like Zach encompasses everything. Like, you see him at Indy, like he's all over McLaren, right? It's not just Formula One. Obviously, he's there quite a bit, but he's the big overseer and does a lot of other things as well. Obviously, Toto's a big deal, owning part of the team. But Christian Horner is he's a big fixture in F1. Like, he controls a lot of it, and I don't know what effect this will have on Red Bull if they lose their leader. And it kind of, I heard someone mention it. I don't know if it was Tim Hauraney or not, but they're just mentioning that, these last 3 years having the most dominating season in F1 since its beginning, and Max just going on a tear. It's a little bit tarnished now, I think, with Christian Horner, these whole allegations, and kind of puts a damper on Max's kind of year and moving forward. So it'll be a good episode of Drive to Survive, Tommy.
Oh, and I saw that yesterday on Netflix. I'm like, Drive to Survive. Or Full Swing is also getting close too.
Yeah.
And not quite there, but I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, that wouldn't be included, but there's already drama, as always, in F1. So we'll go to our resident expert on F1, Joaquin Gage, whenever anything breaks. And I love how you're all over it. You're trying to get information from Ken Holland while he's on the phone at City Center Mall, and then he ducks and dives and jukes his way out of you following him, tailing him, and then you're all over the F1 thing. So you're like a sports private investigator.
Yeah, maybe that was my calling. According to some, I shouldn't have played goal and just been a beat reporter.
But now you have that layer and depth of knowledge having played.
There we go.
You're better for it. You're better for it. All right, get those contra requests in 780-218-9999 and via the nasty chat. It is the Nielsen Show. Gazzola in for Dusty. Joaquin Gage in for Lieutenant Eric. YouTube Trev holding things down here at the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios at EST's Global HQ. I love that new sign that we have. I see it and I smile.
I couldn't wait to see it.
I see it and I smile every time. We do have Mike Johnson coming up just after 7. And then good old Scott Laurie will be in, Redbeard himself, with Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. We do have kind of easy trivia today. We have 3 questions too many. You're doing kind of easy trivia.
I'll do.
I love this. I love this.
I got to be more prepared. I should have wrote a script for. I got some questions here. They're Super Bowl themed. I would
Perfect.
say. So I don't think they're too hard. Maybe there's a.
I got grilled my first couple of times being too hard. And I did ask tough ones. I admit it.
Yeah, you did ask tough ones.
did.
I was going to go full Red Bull trivia here, but I thought, you know what? Let's stick to the big thing of the weekend. Maybe some Oilers, Super Bowl.
Perfect.
I can't wait.
Okay. Well, we do need to get to a sports update brought to you by Green Plan. I fill in for Lieutenant Eric on this one. The Edmonton Oilers returned to action after a quick pit stop in Palm Springs. Chris Knobloch tinkering with his lineup, moving Cory Perry up on a line with Leon Draisaitl and Evander Kane. Warren Fogle goes down to the Holloway and McLeod line, and we do have new D pairings. Joaquin, Vinny Desharnais paired up with Darnell Nurse, Matthias Ekholm with Cody Ceci, Brett Kulak with Evan Bouchard. That's how they skated in Palm Springs yesterday. They take on the Ducks tonight. 8 o'clock face-off. We are on the air for the Oil Stream pregame show. Myself, Joaquin, and YouTube Trev at 6:30. Also, the Toronto Raptors made a couple of moves at the NBA trade deadline, acquiring Canadian big man Kelly Olynyk, along with Ochai Agbaji from the Utah Jazz. Lamar Jackson named the AP MVP for a second time yesterday. Joe Flacco got comeback player of the year. I thought that was great. What else? There was a bunch of awards given out. Christian McCaffrey ran away with the AP Offensive Player of the Year, and Myles Garrett beats out TJ Watt for AP Defensive Player of the Year. CJ Stroud wins AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, and D and Will Anderson Jr. Won the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year award, while Jalen Carter and Kobe Turner lost out by 2 first-place votes. Love it. That is your sports update. Brought to you by Green Plan. With construction season coming up and around the corner, planning season is already in full swing for all your environmental planning needs. Contact Green Plan and environmental consultants. Green Plan can assist with any of your environmental concerns, no matter how big or small the project. Green Plan is here to help. Check them out today. green-plan.com. YouTube, Trev, we take a little breather and then we return. Let's do that. a great trip that did not see the Oilers beat the Golden Knights, unfortunately, on Tuesday night. The Oil looking to bounce back tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. Join us via the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, or you can get at us in the nasty chat as always. Also, I should tell you that you can pick up your Oilers Collector cups at all Popeyes locations. $16.99, you get a classic chicken sandwich, nuggets, Cajun fries, medium drink, dipping sauce, and one of 4 Oilers Collectors cups. I think it's the last 2 that they're down to. The first one was Hyman. I think it was Ekholm. So now it's Nurse and Nugent Hopkins, if I'm not mistaken, that are available at Popeyes. Get those delicious nugs at Popeyes. And the dipping sauce. My favorite is the blackened ranch. Okay, you wanted to... I should have included this in the sports update brought to you by Green Plan, but you want to take your first crack at being a weatherman?
Well, I can't rap like Clausen, but
he is talented.
It's tough. But today's weather in Edmonton, partly clouded conditions from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. with mostly sunny conditions expected at 10. So
Lovely.
We've got a high of -4, a low of -10, with the possibilities of a lot of heat down in Anaheim, with Connor McDavid going supernova.
Oh, look at you sliding in the prediction.
Suck on that, Clausen.
He's our friend.
I like him. He's great.
He's our
Goalie,
friend.
too. Now he's part of the union. So
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
goalie.
yeah.
Great dude. Good job, Gage.
Thanks,
That was
man.
lovely.
Thanks.
Awesome. This text comes in, Paris Jewelers inbox, and it says, "Morning, boys. How about the Canucks losing to a quote-unquote real team last night? Guess they are pretenders, just like the Oilers. Kidding. Let's start a new streak." But it was the battle of the 2 best teams in the NHL yesterday. Boston beating Vancouver 4-0. Statement? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, when you get into those types of situations during the regular season, you look to the Eastern Conference, see what's going on over there. You know, everyone looks okay. It's the top 2 teams. It's those measuring stick games that we just saw on Tuesday night again with the Knights and Oilers, and yeah, you got that splinter of doubt that's put in the head of the other team. You always want to kind of get in. You know, there's parts of games where you can really kind of turn the screws, so to speak. I don't know. Did the Vegas Golden Knights kind of celebrate a little bit too hearty after the empty net goals? You know, there's always that. There's something to do. I like it a little bit, Tommy. I won't lie. When you kind of give it to someone a little bit, but you don't want to do it too much to give them a little bit extra juice, I guess I would say.
Well, they do have one more game against the Golden Knights, the Oilers do. Now, you know, we were talking about the Bruins and the Canucks yesterday. The Canucks lose 4-0. The Oilers lose 2-1 in a game they had a lead, and they controlled most of the second period. I think it's a little bit different, Gager.
Yeah, no, that 4-0 win is kind of a little bit of a beatdown, right? So that's a completely different scenario with the Oilers. The Oilers looked upset because they knew, you know, Aiden Hill made some really good saves and stuff.
He did.
He played a really good game. Different too. Like I remember him being just so in control. Like, he does have the ability to make those big saves too for a big guy like that. But I just found him not as controlled as Skinner looks in most cases. So I guess Dustin Schwartz will have to break that game down and try to find some deficiencies in his game and look for different places to shoot, because it does look like the Knights are looking short side high on Stuart Skinner for a lot of the shots against.
That was a great shot by Chandler Stevens.
It was an unreal shot.
Yeah.
But I hate short side.
Me too.
I just it's a shot that you should stop as a goaltender. It should just hit you, essentially.
It was a great shot, though.
It was a good shot.
I will give him credit.
Yeah.
Did you have qualms with that first goal? Like, it was Ekholm and Bouchard. Bouchard I didn't think he had a very good night. I said it on the post-game show. I thought he was very casual in that return from the break. And then Ekholm didn't pick up Waugh in front. And then second or third shot
and Skinner almost had it, too. Like, it hit the other side of his pad. You know, sometimes that's just a battle that that Vegas won.
Yeah.
That's the type of goals that the Oilers have to look to score against Adin Hill and win the battles down low in that greasy part, I think, against the Golden Knights, because they do such a good job of shutting down the middle of the ice, especially in their own zone, right? And Pietrangelo, geez, man, when last time we were talking about defensemen on the Canada roster for Team Canada, and I think we omitted Pietrangelo, but he's a great hockey player, man.
He really is.
Like he caused that whole play. Him getting the puck, diving around and juking and getting that shot through. That it was an unreal play by him to get the puck to the net, first of all. So, I'd have him on Team Canada, I think.
Why not?
Yeah.
I know other fans hate him, but this is Team Canada. You need the best guys, veteran guy. He's been there. He's done that. Very good player. Dirty? Yes. But excellent defenseman, and has been in the National Hockey League for a long time. Stanley Cup winner a couple of times. Captain of the Blues when they had that crazy run. Like, the credentials are outstanding. He's probably a Hall of Famer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why they went out and got him. A couple of texts to get to via the nasty chat. Strummy says, if you go and get your Oilers Collector's Cup at all Popeyes locations, says, rumor has it they'll hand you a Hyman Cup and then they take it back upon further review. That's in the running for the A&W text of the day. Well done, Strummy. Appreciate that. This one from Based Ekholm in the nasty chat says, if Bouchard is the elite number one Norris candidate, analytics superstar, $11 million D-man that fans say he is, he should be able to play with other players outside of Ekholm. I'm down to see new looks. Yeah, so they just skated in different combinations. I will get confirmation unless they're going to have an optional today. I haven't seen the update in our Oilers media group chat. It hasn't been told us. They have not told us if it's optional. Usually they give us the heads up that it's optional or not. But yes, the pairings were different yesterday, as were, well, one slight change to the forward unit. So the new D pairings were Nurse with Desharnais, Kulak with Bouchard, Ekholm was with CC at practice yesterday. Then you had Cory Perry skating with Evander Kane and Leon Draisaitl, and then Fogle was going to the Holloway-McLeod line for that practice. You like those moves?
Yeah, I think there's...
If they stick?
Yeah, are they going to stick? I'm intrigued. What intrigues me most about them is the Vinman and Darnell Nurse. You know?
Tell me why.
The play of Desharnais recently has piqued my interest. He's doing things that steady physical play, first of all, but he's made these little subtle plays that I'm like, oh, there's something more there to his game. Like, man, I think that Paul Coffey has done something special with this guy. Last year when he came, Tommy, I liked the fact that the Oilers got a guy that was a little bit older, has played a lot of pro games and knew how to play within himself, right? So when we saw him first come to the Oilers, it was amazing how he solidified a horrible PK, right? And it
was a horrible PK.
It was awful until he got here. So, and then I think there was a little bit of regression once they got to the playoffs and he was exposed a little bit. Hearing him talk at the beginning of the year, his training regiment of what he tried to do, get quicker, recognize plays more, a lot of visual acuity kind of drills that he did, making his first pass, and we see that in his play this year. And now, confidence is one of the best drugs on the planet. And when now you can see him having the confidence to try these little plays, because there is some skill there that he can do. Like the little pass he gave to, I think it was Kane to go in, like just a little touches here. He's becoming a worry a little bit for his next contract, because he's almost playing himself out depending on the salary cap. He's going to be sought after, I think.
He's a giant. He's 6'7" or just under 6'7", and like you said, mature, does not make a lot. And that was a discussion that came up.
Yeah.
On Tuesday in the press box in Vegas, is how much does Desharnais get in his next contract? And I was like, I don't know, $1.5 million. That might be lowballing it.
Yep, that's low. At
But
least.
he's a third pairing D-man. He's supposed to be the seventh D-man. But Roberg didn't take. Desharnais earns it. Rough start for everybody. Even the PK, they come around. They're top 10 now.
Yeah, a 5'6" that plays PK, that's huge, man. I'm enjoying watching him play. I think it's good to see the success of him. People talk about what does he do next year, Mm-hmm. So, and I hate to say it, but I think he has to, just because of his age, how long he's been in the league. It's a short window. You don't get to play hockey forever,
right?
You might see him looking to cash in and set himself up for the rest of his life here with whatever offers come to him.
I don't blame him. The Oilers did draft him, by the way, and developed him, and were patient with him.
Yeah.
That late round pick, I think, 2015, if I don't recall, somewhere around.
What round
there.
was he in? Do you know?
He was I think he was like a seventh rounder. I'm looking it up right now. 780-218-9999 if you want to text us, get at us in the nasty chat as well. YouTube, Trev, anything on Vinny Desharnais? Good morning, pal. You want to check in? Say hi to everybody?
Yeah. How you boys doing? Just updating all the guys on all the liners because, like we said, Dusty and LT, they took them all, so I've been having to scour the internet to find them, and I've done a good job. So that's why I was kind of MIA.
Job.
Yeah, the conch isn't working, but
Did you figure that out?
No, I have no idea. I still can't hear it. No one can really hear it, but maybe we'll give it a go again, and if it doesn't work, then we'll probably
scrap
the conch.
It is the poopy conch, too.
Yeah.
Can't we just blow one and see what we
can do?
We could.
Well, we have 19 of them around these studios and our green room or whatever we call the lounge area. But, yeah. Desharnais, by the way, 7th rounder, 183rd overall, 2016.
Oh, the Oilers have known to create magic from the 5th round on. So I was 5th round.
Oh, I know. I know. Oh, yeah, that's okay, Gager. That's okay. I love it. All right. I'll get to these texts. Based Ekholm says, Knobloch said it's not set in stone, but to give guys some chemistry for different scenarios, like coming off of a PK or a power play. Yeah. That's fine. But I don't know. I mean, they're subtle enough up front that you could see that happen. And Foegele, he's had a good season, all things considered. He's on pace to have a personal best season. But he's not really a second-line winger.
No.
That's not his ideal fit on any team. Third, fourth line. Speed. Didn't have the hands the other night.
No, there was some issues there.
There was some issues there. But, so Cory Perry, if he's elevated to that line for the game like he was yesterday in the practice, I was kind of looking at that the other night going, I wonder when he gets a look. It'd be intriguing to see Cory Perry with Evander Kane. Lo and behold, they're skating together yesterday in Palm Springs.
Well, you can see the skill level of Cory Perry with some of the stuff he does too, right? It's a highly skilled player. I'm curious to see what those two big bodies can do against the Ducks tonight. That's tough to handle.
This came up the other night post-game. And it was discussed after in the post-game, post-beverages among the Edmonton media that we had in Vegas. It was, should Cory Perry have stirred up more crap against the Golden Knights and really introduce himself to his teammates and this rivalry? And some thought, yes, he should have stirred it up, face palm, maybe take a shot at Aiden Hill, something. And it didn't seem to happen. And my counter to that thought was maybe he's saving it for Friday when he goes back to Anaheim. I know it's been a few years since, but
I would take it one step further, Tommy. I mean, he's only played is this his third game?
This will be his third game.
So there's a tendency when you come to a new team is, you don't jump right into the deep end of the pool. You kind of work your way in. And I think he doesn't want to be the cause of the Oilers maybe taking a penalty, the other team going on the power play, scoring. So there's a comfort factor, I think, that you have to get to coming to a new team and being part of a different message, so to speak, what it was in Chicago, definitely. So I think we'll get there eventually where you'll see Cory Perry put his stamp on the game with that the extracurricular play, but maybe just right now he just wants to make sure he's not the cause of a loss, especially when they're in that type of streak, right?
Right.
So,
what say you? 780-218-9999. Let's see what's going on in the nasty chat. Why am I so gullible, Joel? Why am I so gullible? What did I miss here? All right. Do you see it? I don't see it. I missed it. Let's go over to the inbox. The Paris Jewelers inbox, Dolphin Nation, saying Tua and Tyreek were robbed. Flacco, what a joke. Yes, no surprise. Dolphin Nation is saying that. Ken says, welcome back, Tommy. Dusty and the boys didn't stick to the script of what happens in Vegas yesterday. So what's your version of your mom reacting to you and the groupie story? Oh, boy, I'm not even going to get into that. What did they talk about yesterday? Please enlighten me, because I was traveling back from...
That, your mom saved you from getting married, essentially?
Oh, God. Did they tell the whole story?
No. That's pretty well. That's it. They just said that there's a girl that really, really liked you.
Yeah.
And your mom was like, no, like essentially.
Oh, my mom was not
Really?
having it. Yeah.
wow.
So it was right before we were heading to the airport. We were getting together, ran into our good friend Larry, who's a huge AM Nasty, and they were having a couple of beverages, my parents with Larry, and then I was with the boys for a little bit, went for a bite to eat, and then we were just kind of doing a debrief on how the trip was going. And then we're like, okay, let's go pop into this place and let's have a quick beverage. And then this one lady wearing the shirt of a different resort that looked like she might work for that resort comes and starts talking to us, and she is flying, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she is flying. She clearly was having a day.
Okay.
And a lot of energy at 4 in the afternoon.
Nice.
And she was all over me. She tried Eric. Eric was like, well, no, I'm married, sorry. And she goes to Awanik. Awanik pushes or shoves, like kind of brushes her off and was like, no, I'm good. And then Dusty, sorry, but no, married. She's like, oh, and then she looks at me and I'm like, oh no, you. Oh, and I'm like, how am I gonna deal with this? And like, she just talked. And she's like, are you leaving tonight? Are you staying? And I'm like, oh boy, no, I have to go. Sorry to break your heart. Then my parents were there, and my mom's watching this, and she's like, who is this lady? And she was a little bit older too. And I'm like, well, there's my parents right there. My dad's talking.
It's all set up.
Who's this? Oh, this nice Vegas girl. And she's very bubbly. And I'm looking at my dad. I'm like, she's not bubbly, Dad. She's having a Wednesday. And then she goes over to my mom, shakes my mom's hand, and my mom just gives her the stare. And then like a minute later, this lady finds out that, hey, my mom's not having any of this. And she comes back to me. She's like, oh, they're super nice. Tried talking to your mom, but she didn't really want to chat. I'm like, yeah, she's tired. She's tired. She needs to travel tonight. So, yes, there's no wedding at the Cheetos Chapel on the Strip for me.
Didn't know your mom was a rooster blocker.
My mom, she's very protective of her boys.
All right.
Yeah, it was interesting. And Vegas is full of characters.
Yeah, I haven't been in decades, so.
Timber Woodsman says Tommy fourth choice. Ouch. Yep, that's okay.
That's all right.
In this scenario, if you saw what I was dealing with, you'd be like, that's just fine. I was hoping to not be seen. And I walked right into it, and I was like, oh boy, this is bad. All right, let's get to Jeffy's text. Jeffy wants to see Perry relax tonight against the lowly Ducks. Jeff on the farm says, Perry, Kane, and Dry, can we call it the pissy line?
That's a good one. Yeah, we'll see what happens. That's a lot of beef on that line.
It's a big line.
Let's hopefully a simple type of game. That's what I want to see from that line. Nothing fancy, no drop passes between the legs of the blue line. Just simple, manage the puck. Get it to hard areas. They should dominate whoever they're playing against. That's a
question for you in regard to Kane and Draisaitl. Do you agree with the lack of chemistry there? That's been popping up.
I know.
It did again the other night.
I know, and it doesn't seem to. Some guys just don't work well together. I don't understand why it doesn't. I I like that Nabla has gone back to it and trying to find something there, because I think there is.
Yeah.
I think there should be something there, and maybe it won't manifest itself until the games mean a lot more, right? Because we've seen both those guys, the way they play in the crucial times, they raise the level of their game, and maybe it's just the regular season isn't conducive to do that.
Well, they do have offensive pedigree, both of them. Someone was telling me that they didn't think Kane is offensively gifted and had like cerebral offensive hockey abilities. And I was like, he scored 30 in the league. He gets you 20, gets you about 50 points. I'd say that's pretty consistent over the course of the last decade and a bit. I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. He has been nicked up. I think he's probably better now after a week and a half of rest. So I'm stopping with the excuse that he's nicked up. I feel like he's probably a little bit healthier. What say you? 780-218-9999. Nasty chat. Anything else, Gager?
No, we should probably talk about the Super Bowl a little bit.
We should.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Mike Johnson coming up. We have like a minute or two.
Oh, okay.
You want to tease the Super Bowl? Because we'll talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's, all the festivities. What about the halftime show? I've been wondering about this.
Are you cool with Usher?
I mean, I'm not uncool with Usher.
Do you love Reba McEntire?
I do like Reba McEntire. Yeah.
Great.
So.
And then who else is?
I don't know who the other ones are.
Yeah.
But is it under wraps? Are they keeping it secret?
Usher's bringing some friends, I'm assuming.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. But,
that part of it, we did see some celebrities start to roll in.
Oh, did you?
Like that Bert Kreischer.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
he was
comedian.
Yeah, he was ripping a stogie at the lobby bar at the MGM Grand, and then Eric ran into some guy yesterday I didn't recognize.
No.
I'm not good with celebrity.
No, I didn't know who that was either, but then I saw he's got like 1 billion followers.
Yeah.
So he's got to be someone big.
Yeah, and then at the game, Pat McAfee and Bubba Watson were there to like
were they?
hit the horn or crank the horn. Yeah. But like McAfee at the start of the game didn't do it. His sidekick did. And then that guy ended up skating, or not skating, he was on the Zamboni.
Oh, really?
In the first intermission. They're like, from the Pat McAfee show, it's that guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And nothing, no response. And the guy's like, yeah, let's go, Gold Knights.
No, jeez.
Nothing. And then Bubba Watson. Bubba was into it. He was cranking that siren pretty hard. That was kind of neat. And so there were a few instances where people were like, oh, I saw so-and-so there and so-and-so. So they were starting to sprinkle their way into the festivities at Super Bowl on the Strip at Vegas. The other thing that was coming up, too, was the baseball and the A's moving over there and the Tropicana getting blown up.
Did the mayor say they didn't want the baseball team?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She said something when we were down there, and it was people were talking about it. Maybe they should like stay away from Vegas. I think there was a shot at the owner of the A's, and obviously this thing is going through. It's being forced through. And then the other thing is the NBA and LeBron, and they have a spot, I think it's on the south end of the Strip, for another arena.
Really?
Yeah. For the NBA team that will eventually make its way to Vegas. Like, a lot is going on with sports there.
Is it too hot to play baseball in Vegas in the summertime?
I think they're going to have to do like a
partially
semi-dome
enclosed dome or whatever. Like, what is that? LA, they have that glass that reflects all the heat or whatever. So, I don't know.
It lets the air in through the sides and vents it naturally, something like that. I think they're going to have to do that. They want the strip view in the back, though.
Yeah, I know.
They'll orient it that way.
Vegas, man.
What a town, man. What a town. It's crazy. It's crazy. But, 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the Paris Jewelers inbox. And the nasty chat, it is the Nielson Show here on EST. Gazzola in for Dusty. Joaquin, Gage in for Lieutenant Eric. YouTube Trev holding things down. The boys are back later today, while Trev and I will be back with Gager on the pre- and post-game show. I think Dusty's got the day off and Eric's got the day off. Maybe Dusty's doing an oil stream with me. He hasn't told me.
I think he's doing the hangout today. I thought
Dusty's doing the hangout?
Isn't Dusty doing the hangout today?
Oh, okay. So we're just rearranging everything. I was just told be in for 5 in the morning on Friday. I'm like, got it.
That. Look at the professionalism, the CEO coming in, working.
I love it.
Grinding.
I love it.
He's putting in the work.
Hopefully they got some rest on the plane. And
Mike Miller in the Nasty Chat. When does Popeyes open on 170th? Do we know?
Pretty soon. Like, it looks like it's almost ready. We can get confirmation from our good buddy Furby.
What's your go-to with Popeyes?
It is the classic chicken sandwich. If I feel like I'm up for it, I'll go with the spicy.
Oh, yeah?
But most time just the classic.
Really?
With mac and cheese on the side.
Huh. Okay.
I do get the nugs every now and then.
Yeah, they're good.
With blackened ranch.
Dusty had the blackened chicken. Is it the blackened
There's
chicken?
a blackened chicken sandwich, too.
I might have to try that.
I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't had a bad meal there ever.
No, it's...
and I'm always stuffed.
I like my chicken spicy. I'm like George, so I get the classic spicy chicken sandwich. It's delicious. It hits
Joaquin
a home
likes
run.
spicy chicken. Joaquin's getting sweaty.
I like it spicy. What can I say?
Yes. All right. Mike Johnson coming up next as we'll go around the National Hockey League. If you have any questions for Johnny, fire them our way at the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. And, of course, the Nasty Chat. It is the Nielsen Show. Time now for a Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind. If you didn't catch it, the Edmonton Oilers returned to action after a quick pit stop in Palm Springs where they practiced and Chris Knobloch tinkered with his lineup. He had Cory Perry switched up with Warren Foegele, so Perry was on a line with Draisaitl and Evander Kane, while Foegele joined Dylan Holloway and Ryan McLeod on the third line. There were different D pairings on the ice in Palm Springs. Vinny Desharnais was paired up with Darnell Nurse, Matthias Ekholm with Cody Ceci, and Brett Kulak with Evan Bouchard. We'll see if those tweaks stick for tonight's action against the Ducks, where you'll catch myself, Joaquin, and YouTube Trev on the Oil Stream pregame show. We get going at 6:30 p.m. right here on EST. Toronto Raptors, by the way, made a couple of moves at the NBA trade deadline, acquiring Canadian big man Kelly Olynyk along with Ochai Agbaji from the Jazz. Also in football news, Lamar Jackson was named the AP MVP for the second time in his career. Among other winners, Christian McCaffrey ran away with the AP Offensive Player of the Year award. Cleveland Browns edge rusher Myles Garrett beats out TJ Watt for AP Defensive Player of the Year. Houston Texans QB CJ Stroud won the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year in a landslide Gager. And defensive end Will Anderson Jr. won the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year award. So a couple of nice awards for the Texans. And then Browns quarterback Joe Flacco won AP Comeback Player of the Year. There's one for the old guys.
That's good.
I love it. I love it.
Can we do the weather now?
You want to do the weather? Okay.
I might as well.
All right, let's go. EST weather. Joaquin Gage.
Today, partly cloudy conditions from 8 to 10 a.m. with mostly sunny conditions expected after 10. Currently in the Edmonton area, it is -9. Today, low of -10 with a chance in the late evening of -4. So, and looking out there in traffic, it's dark. And so we'll have to wait until 8:04 till that sun comes up to have a look.
Like our true Pauline Higgins there on the traffic. All right, that was your Universal Rewind, brought to you by Universal. It's Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind. LTIR for electric motors doesn't exist. Contact Universal Rewind to have them properly maintain your motors. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind, who brought you that Sports Rewind. YouTube Trev. Let's take a little breather, and when we come back, Mike Johnson joins us.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all at the back. Like Wyszynski and Noodles, Gavnik and Gage. But a cool bag to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late. Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We want to hear some classics and we want to hear Renee. Want to hold the neck up when I want to kids away. He just to tie a fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramella, Ramapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. But they make my cousin in the tales of the North. I'll run and give a person. Does he go on? What say you?
Hey.
AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:04 in Edmonton. That was amazing. Holy smokes.
That is...
Oh, that's too good. Jotty in Victoria outdoing himself. I love, like, it's like mini recording studios. Or if you're Dallas, who did the Johnny Cash songs, like,
yeah.
That is very, very impressive.
Yeah, Dallas, he sounds, well, it's obviously Cash in there. Have you ever heard Coulter Wall, too? You know who?
Maybe, yeah.
He's got some Coulter Wall in him, too. Coulter Wall, I mean, I'm not proficient in country music by any stretch of the imagination, but he's got some songs, and I was listening to it because they were interesting, the lyrics, and he was making references to he referenced Speedy Creek, and so I'm like, he's Swift Current. That's weird, but when you hear him like sing, you'd think he's from Nashville or something. He's from Saskatchewan.
Wow,
he's unreal artist, actually.
My buddy does a great Conway Twitty.
Oh, really?
Austin Porter, yeah, great guy, great Conway Twitty, deep voice. He's got that deep voice. He's a big man.
Yeah.
Very well done. Very well done. All right, it is the second hour of the Nielsen Show. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty, Joaquin Gage in for Lieutenant Eric. The boys are back later on today alongside Matthew Iwanek, YouTube Trev, making sure everything's running smoothly. Get at us in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, so it's time to find something for the one you love at Paris Jewelers. Canadian and family owned with 22 locations across the country. Go see our friends at PJ's. They'll look after you. Or you can hop online at parisjewelers.com. Time now to welcome in Mike Johnson, our hockey insider, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead on St. Albert Trail at 128th Ave, or visit them online at proamsports.ca. Like you, they are sports nerds and AM Nasties too. And like me, Ken and Jack are jersey nerds because I'm a dork for those things and the aesthetic of sports. Hockey specifically, and we saw the nastiest, ugliest all-star jerseys of all time. And there's Johnny. Let's bring him on. Johnny kind of gave the side look there. Johnny, those were terrible. I don't care if Bieber designed those all-star jerseys. They sucked.
Well, I'll say this. My children like them.
That's great.
And they're teenagers, and I think that's who they're designed for. Not for you, although you're quite young as well.
I'm almost 40.
The name bar on the bottom was really hard to read.
Yes.
But other than that, and I had a couple of people tell me, I was there in person, so I only saw them on ice. I didn't watch them on TV, but they said they looked actually quite good on TV, quite contrasting on TV. So I'm not a guy who gets upset about jerseys, but I've seen worse. I've seen worse at All-Star games.
Okay. I believe it, and I have to. Gage, do you want to chime in on this at all?
Oh, no. I mean, I just looked at Bieber's jacket, the knit jacket, and figured, well, if that was worse than the jerseys, it was kind of along the same lines, I think. But, yeah. No, it was okay.
He was wearing a slightly used Honda Accord. $20,000 jacket.
Yeah. I mean, with that kind of star power, you'd think you'd get something that fits, you know. It was funny there. And didn't someone else take it for a spin too, that jacket from TSN? I thought I saw.
The whole goal was they wanted Jim Montgomery to put it on in the second period of the final game.
Oh, my.
If they were winning to, be part of the vibe, Team Bieber vibe, but Monty couldn't quite get drawn out of his shell that much. But I will say this, we're going to tangent to the All-Star game. The stars that were there added a lot to it. Whether you like Justin Bieber or not, the fact he's a monstrous star and he likes hockey and he likes the players. And Will Arnett is a monstrous star and he likes the Leafs and he likes the players. Michael Bublé, same thing. Tate McRae is a massive pop star. She has hockey in her family. So they always try to bring local celebrities to All-Star games, and it often falls a little flat because it's not really their thing.
Mm-hmm.
These guys and women were really into it, and it actually did add quite a bit to the game for the weekend.
Well, yeah, just like Bieber taking warm-ups, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
I thought, like for a guy that
it would be cool.
Yeah,
right?
Like someone that I remember Garth Brooks, who's actually a huge hockey fan.
Really?
He was out on the ice with the old Portland Pirates way back when. He became good friends with the GM of Nashville. It's losing my name here.
David Poyle?
No, the new
Barry
one.
Trotz?
Trotsy.
Oh,
They kindled a friendship, and Trotsy actually went and got him gear, and and now he was in Nashville for so long. I guess there's a kind of a good friendship there. So,
and I know it was last weekend, but
ideas here.
Go
Tommy,
for it. Go for it.
Two ideas.
Yep.
One, Bieber out there in warm up. Gage, did you see his first warm up shot?
No, I didn't.
By the guy by the goalie here.
Did he?
I'm like, clearly he's not been out for warm up before. Like, you got to beat pads a little bit. He tries to go right under the bar, right? Whoever was in net right here on the page, you got to slow that down. And it's my Garth Brooks story. Garth Brooks had a charity that a lot of NHL players signed up for to do every assist. You contributed whatever $100 to his charity, and so as a thank you to the NHL, he actually came to a PA meeting we had, and basically a private concert for like an hour and a half for like 60 guys.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
That's
Sean Burke got up there with his guitar, was playing along with him. It was a real scene. So yeah, Garth Brooks is definitely part of the hockey squad.
It's legit.
That's pretty cool. And with all due respect to the All-Star weekend, I was pleasantly surprised and enjoyed the game, and then the skills comp too, and jerseys aside. But I just wanted to tie in with Pro-Am there. So my complaints end at the jerseys. Everything else looked great. And then whoever took that puck off the mask from Bieber, I'm sure they were just fine, because I feel like it was probably a muffin, Johnny. A Tim Hortons muffin.
That's maybe it was I thought it was a backup.
Yeah. Okay. Now with stuff that's more relevant, Gager and I were talking about this a little bit, and people post game after the Oilers lost to the Golden Knights were pretty harsh in their critiques. Not a lot of them, but Johnny, I was down there in Vegas, and people were bringing up a few individual performances, and then a couple of a vocal minority, let's call them, had the same thought on the Oilers losing to Vegas, saying they're not ready to beat the Golden Knights. And I said, guys, they beat the Golden Knights earlier in the year. And then the joke came up today when we were talking about Boston beating Vancouver yesterday 4-0. Like, that's more of a statement than the Oilers losing 2-1 in a game they controlled a lot of play to the Golden Knights. Is that a fair argument?
So they just won 16 in a row, 17 in a row. Like, what are we talking about? And they lost
Edmonton
to a good team in a game that they probably, if they were to play it 10 times, Edmonton probably wins that game 6 or 7 times. They weren't outplayed in the game. It was a pretty even game. Edmonton maybe carried the play slightly, but they lost. Vegas has a good goalie. Vegas is a good team. This is what happens sometimes. Like, I get it that Vegas Stanley Cup champs, they play a sort of physical style. In many ways, though, that game against Vegas should almost make Oilers fans feel good about where the team is, because that was a kind of a rugged game, pretty little chippy, not a lot of space, not a lot of room, very defensive. And Edmonton looked right at home. They weren't trying to get away from that style. They're like, we're okay playing this way. Mm-hmm. We're okay playing against Vegas this way, and we trust that we'll be able to figure it out in the end. And they didn't get the extra goal they needed, but that was not an alarm bell kind of game to me. That was oh yeah, those are two really good teams going at each other, and Edmonton has no problem dealing with the checking or the physicality of Vegas. They won't win every game. The same way if they play a series, which they may play in the first round, Edmonton's not going to sweep the series. They'll go 6 or 7 games. It'll be tough to do, but I wouldn't think that would be, cause for concern because the way that game went out. And the same way that Vancouver, who had not lost in 10 games, lost to Boston on 2 shorties when they didn't have a great game, some bad bounces going in. Lord knows Vancouver's due for some bad bounces against, because they get plenty going for them. I don't think you can read too much into it. I know it's Boston. 2011 is a long time ago. There is literally nobody involved in either organization except for Brad Marchand, who played in those games that long ago. So it's easy to jump on and say it's a problem. This is a statement game. Vancouver's not ready. Boston's the real deal. I think all of it is just a little bit overblown for a game in February when this happens in the NHL. Like, no matter how good you are, you don't get to win every game, even though the Oilers fans apparently think that they should.
MJ, when looking back a few weeks ago, the Oilers win the Cory Perry sweepstakes, I guess you could say. You see some, I think, reactionary counter moves by the Jets getting Monahan. You look out to the coast, you see the Canucks getting Lindholm. Do you see any of these kind of big teams out west adding another piece to kind of put them over the top? Or what are you hearing on any trade fronts if before the deadline here? Is there any other teams that are going to make a huge splash?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of arms racy in the West, because I think 6 of the best 8 teams in the league play in the Western Conference. The West is better, way top heavier than the East. So we've seen, I don't know if Cory Perry's a needle-moving move, but he's still a good player on a really good team. I think you'll see Vancouver still look for another defenseman. They've talked about Chris Tanev out there, but they need, I think, another right-shot defenseman makes them that much deeper. I think Dallas all looks for a right-shot defenseman. They don't need any forwards. They don't need a goalie, but they could use one more defenseman. Hakanpää plays a few too many minutes for that team. I think Colorado is rumbling on another forward. And they still maybe don't trust their depth, or depending on their health reports, their pickup could be Gabe Landeskog.
Yeah.
Let me think about that.
Right.
He might be one of those guys. And listen, he's missed 2 years. There's no fudging the cap here. But he might be sort of a day one playoff. Maybe he's at 80-85%, which would still be better than most players in the NHL. I think they're waiting on Nichushkin, but Colorado will be busy to make sure that they have a good chance this year when they have a really good team. So I think the top teams are all going to sort of fiddle. And it wouldn't surprise me if LA, with a new coach, thinks about getting a goalie.
Yeah.
Because they're a really good team whose goalies played great early, but they probably don't have great goaltenders. And relying on big save Dave Riddick to get it done down the stretch, probably they would maybe upgrade there. So if there's a goalie out there, then they would probably take a look at that as well. So yeah, I think all the teams in the West, all the top teams will be working to make their team better. And Edmonton, from all three, still shopping for another top 9 wing. I think they could probably use an uptick there and just add a little bit more depth. So a lot of the top players heading out west this year.
It's like what happened last year in the East when it was the arms race.
Yeah.
And it kind of didn't really work out. I think of the Rangers specifically, and it just kind of didn't pan out the way they had hoped. And Johnny, I'm glad you brought up the LA Kings, because they fired Todd McClellan and Jim Hiller takes over. Can they salvage their season? And I say that knowing that they're sitting in the wild card spot, in the first wild card spot in the Western Conference. But, Nashville's only 2 points back. So is St. Louis. The Flames, who've won 3 in a row, are 3 points back of the Kings. Are they going to get that bump from getting rid of Todd McClellan, bringing in Hiller? And what do you see with them? And I know you talked about the goaltending, but, man, it feels like this thing is slipping fast.
I do think they get there, largely because I think they're the best team. A lot of those teams scrambling for the wild spots are, it's Nashville, it's St. Louis, it's Arizona. They're quality teams, but they're not really good. I think LA is better than them. Mm-hmm. And so they're still the same team that got off to that, what were they, 27-4 to start the season. They were 11-0 on the road to start the season. I get it, it's changed, but the same personnel is basically there. What's changed is I think the goaltender's taken a huge dip, and some of their depth scorers are not scoring the way they did early in the season. That is going to ebb and flow. It does that for good players. It's certainly going to be that for not frontline players. There will be stretches where they don't score, but it will come back to them. I think they do get it back. I think they do get to the playoffs. The problem is, if they make the playoffs, wild card 1, wild card 2, the aforementioned big 6 in the West, they're not as good as any of those teams.
Right.
So they're kind of like the one team. They're not an elite, upper echelon team, but they're better than the rest. So I don't know what a success season would be. Like they probably would have thought early on, second round, third round. I think now they make the playoffs. They would not be favored in any series they play in the round, nor should they be. It would be a surprise if they were to get through it. So I think they make the playoffs, and I think that's probably about as far as they go.
TSN hockey analyst Mike Johnson joining us now, brought to you by Pro Am Sports. What are you thinking about that?
Oh no, I was just I watched a lot of the Leafs Dallas game. I was curious to see because the Stars have been a pretty dominant team. The Leafs seemed to they looked better than I'd seen them before in certain games, and they seem to kind of handle the Dallas Stars quite well. I'm wondering about the goaltending. Samsonov, when is he scheduled to be back? And do you think the Leafs might make some sort of move on to solidify their back end moving forward? That's the only place where I see them really needing some, because we see what Matthews is doing. He's probably gonna get close to 60 again. What kind of moves before the deadline do we see the Leafs kind of trying to solidify for the playoffs?
Yeah, so it's crazy. If Austin Matthews doesn't get 60 goals, we'll all be like, what happened? Like, that would be a brutal finish to his year. If he doesn't get 60, like, it's crazy. He's going to push 70. So we'll start from the back end out. Joseph Woll now has reappeared on the ice. He's missed 2 months with a high ankle sprain. The reports are he's nowhere near playing again.
Wow.
Yeesh.
Oh, and for goaltenders, ankle sprains are a real challenge, the way that they have to use their ankles to load their legs and everything else. So I don't know what it means. He's not taking live shots in practice. And Sheldon Keefe came out after the All-Star break, said, no, he's around, but he's not around. So I don't know when he comes back, but they can't afford, Gager, to go get a goalie.
Yeah.
Because they have too many other needs, right? They have Jones, they have Samsonov, they have three guys who can all be decent, all maybe have question marks, but they can't afford to waste assets or dollars on goaltenders. So that's what they got. It's going to take forever to them. They need a defenseman, no doubt. They need a top four defenseman that John Klingberg was supposed to be. I think they are shopping for that. I think they are going to figure out, how good are we? Because if we're not that good, do we trade first-round picks? Do we trade top prospects when we're not as good as we were in years past? Maybe it's a year we go for a secondary-type filler. Andrew Peeke, Sean Walker, not Chris Tanev, Noah Hannafin. Like, I think they're trying to figure that over the next few weeks. But what I do think they need is, I know the big four guys, they were great against Dallas. They win 5-4. The big four score all 5 goals. They're involved in all the points. They need somebody to help them depth scoring-wise. Tyler Bertuzzi's 1 goal in 28 games.
Yikes.
Max Domi's 1 goal in 23 games. Matthew Knies is 0 goals in 16 or 17 games. Like, these are guys that are playing in the top 6 with these talented forwards, and they're not scoring goals. So it would not surprise me if they'll tinker around trying to go find some offense, because they're just not getting it from anybody outside the big four. Now, the good thing is the big four are pretty good, and they score a ton, and they provide a lot. But if they want to be better, if they're going to play Florida in the first round, and we know how tough Florida can be defensively, how physical, like, they'll need more than just the big four. They'll need some stuff from other guys. So I think priority 1, defenseman. Priority 2 and 3 would probably be depth forwards. And then they'll probably stop there. They probably won't go deeper than that, because they're not that good this year. They're sort of a mediocre team, sort of a 10 to 14 team in the league, whereas in years past they were sort of 4 to 8. Yeah. And they're just a bit worse this year.
Johnny, last one for you. It just popped into my head. We know that the goalie market is less than ideal right now, but if you were a team in need of a goalie in LA or Toronto, what is out there that actually makes you go, that would be a great ad? Is there anything? Because to me, I always poo-poo the idea of a Jake Allen. I know the Oilers goalie discussion has died down around here, rightly so, with the play of Calvin Pickard and especially Stuart Skinner. But if you're a team that's trying to make an impact, try to put a run together, is there a goalie that might be out there or that we haven't really talked about and could be plucked from another team that you think could help a team trying to put themselves over the hump?
Yep. There's one obvious one in your province that I would go get. If I'm New Jersey, who has a good team with Jack Hughes back healthy, even without Dougie Hamilton, I would be calling about Jacob Markstrom. Absolutely. He's got a couple more years. I know he's older. He's having a good year. He gives them consistency. I think he's sort of he's not open, doesn't want to trade it, but is sort of resigned to the fact that they might approach him with it.
Right.
Elias Lindholm is like one of his best friends in life. One of the reasons why he went to Calgary was to play with Lindholm. He's not there anymore. They're kind of going through this rebuildy sort of thing in Calgary. If I'm Jersey, and I don't know if you watched the game last night, Vanacek, Gager. Like, I'm sorry. Every time the puck went in the offensive zone, I'm like, oh boy, like it's gonna go in here. I think there was 5 posts where he just sat there. Anyways, they need stability in net. And if I'm Jersey, who has a pretty good team, and the Metro to me is the worst division in hockey, and you can go catch something and make noise in the playoffs, I would go get Markstrom. He would be the guy, and it might cost a lot, but I'm the most interested in him, or LA for that matter. Can you imagine LA got Markstrom?
Yeah.
The way they can play defense? Like all of a sudden they get scary. So he would be the guy, hard to get out of Calgary, but I would take a look.
I like it, Johnny. I like it a lot. Bit better than Corpusalo if you're at LA. Mike Johnson, always a pleasure, sir. Have a fantastic weekend, and thank you as always.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, buddy.
All right, boys. What do we got in the Super Bowl?
Oof.
Real quick. I got Niners 24-17.
I got Taylor Swift 24, San Francisco 14.
I think Vegas, what do they say? The house always wins. Vegas dominates everybody, but KC walks away with the Super Bowl this year.
Gage, you're like my daughter. They love football now. She
Yeah.
wants to watch it every weekend the Kansas City plays. Cannot get enough of it. She's 17 years old. Loves it.
Awesome.
Oh, my.
That's great.
The power of Taylor Swift. Johnny, have a great weekend, pal.
That's it.
Mike Johnson.
All right, boys.
Excellent stuff there from Johnny. As always, TSN hockey analyst and our hockey insider, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead on St. Albert Trail at 128th Ave, or visit them online at proamsports.ca. Like you, they are sports nerds and AM nasties too.
He's good. He's a good player, too. He was a really good player.
Mike Johnson?
Yeah. He's fast.
Great. Yeah. He was good. He was like a 20-goal scorer.
Yeah, he was good, man.
Great broadcaster.
Oh, awesome broadcaster. Really smart. Yeah. I always like listening to him. It's funny that all the broadcasts, like I think I've said this before, like McLennan, Noodles, was a fantastic goaltender. Like he was unbelievable, and I don't think people realize how good he actually was. He was phenomenal. And
did you play against him in the Western League?
No, not in the Western League. He's a little bit older, so I missed him. But the O-Dog played against him when he played in Hartford, actually. He was playing on a line with Brendan Shanahan, I remember.
Yeah, Shanahan didn't want to be there.
No, he didn't. But
Paul Coffey ended up with the Whalers,
yeah,
too.
Yeah. So I remember because I think I'm a year older than the O-Dog, and he was a top pick or whatever, and I remember him carrying the puck through the neutral zone, and he was like, I think it might have been his rookie years, and he was slick, man. And I remember because he came across the blue line, dropped the puck, and Shanahan stepped into it and blew it right between my legs. Like it was in and out between my legs before I even moved, and I was like, wow, these guys are really good.
Shanahan was awesome. Scary, man.
Oh, yeah, and he just had a sledgehammer for a shot, and it was funny because afterwards I remember I went home and was crying and watching the highlights, and they interviewed him, and someone asked him like, "Well, your goal, like, how did you score like that?" And he goes, "Well, sometimes I just shoot the puck right at the goalie because it was just made me sound even worse because they expect you to shoot sometimes like picking corners, and a lot of times it's like deer caught in the headlights. So that's it." When I shoot that right at him, they're not expecting it. So it made me even look even worse.
Okay.
But
ouch.
You know what? He was a pretty good player. So
yeah, he was. He was an excellent player. Tough guy, too, and an executive for the Toronto Maple Leafs. What is he, president? He's got a lifetime.
He's got a big title there.
Big title and a sweet deal for Brendan Shanahan. But, yeah, Mike Johnson, fellow Toronto Maple Leaf. Shanny is a Leaf now. Johnny was good. In Arizona, he was good. He was a good hab, too. Like, a good middle six.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, he would be a perfect fit in his prime for the Oilers right now.
I agree with that.
That would be
That
type of players.
Veteran.
Yeah.
Scoring ability, good enough in his own zone.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't hurt you. Anyway, great add to our lineup here at EST.
Awesome.
Johnson. Well, he's been with us for a long time.
I wanted to ask him about Keefe, too.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not going to be any movement now. But looking into next year, Tommy, when you see the coaches that are out there available, are we going to see a big coaching carousel with teams that maybe, don't make the playoffs, or do you see teams making a change? Like what do we got? Berube, we've got McLennan now, and Woodcroft. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Woodcroft's going to get a job. He's still kicking around town, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'd like to run into him. He's great.
Gene saw him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I think his kids go to school around here too,
Yeah.
right?
So they're also active in sports.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So no rush to get. I don't know. Like if you're Woodcroft, there's no rush to get back into it. You're going to be able next year when the coaching carousel happens. His name's going to be in the mix instead of kind of being wedged into a role this year. Gets time to decompress, right? And then you can you might have a couple of options available. Yeah. I like that strategy.
I look at the strategy the Canucks had last year, which worked out tremendously for them. Having your coach come in, those last month and a half, and kind of get a read on everyone, how it is. And then I think that helped Rick Tocchet with the Canucks because he kind of knew what he had and was able to develop a structure over the summer, talk to his players, and really, subtle little adjustments probably in those last few months. So whatever new system you're trying to implement isn't a complete shock, but I think teams should start looking at that possibly. If they're going to look for a guy, why not have him come in and do that kind of forensic audit?
I don't disagree with that, Gage. The one thought I have is it probably, to me, I would ask what type of personality is coming in late in the season or mid-season like Tocchet did last year. The guy's kind of an ass kicker, right?
Yeah.
Jay is more of straight-up information, massage, feel. That's my take on it. Whereas, what did Tocchet say, like his first or second week? He
was ripping.
He's like, we were soft tonight.
Yeah.
That was his line.
Soft, yeah.
And he's coming in 2 weeks prior. He was at the TNT studios, ripping on any team he wanted to on that fantastic broadcast. It is the best NHL broadcast right now. And then, he's behind the bench with the Canucks 2 weeks later, a team that was having an awful season last year, and he's calling his guys soft.
Yeah.
And he's barely been with them. And then even this year when they got off to a good start, he still called them out like 1 or 2 weeks in. He's a butt kicker. And I don't know if his style is a newer age version of the old hard coach that kind of pushes you. If he has a nice way, if he can find that balance of, I'm going to say some things that you might not like, I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but at the same time, I got X's and O's that we can do, and I can, when you're down, I can work with you. I don't know if he's kind of adapted. I'm assuming he has with how successful they've been, because he's not a Sutter.
No.
Where it's just go 100% all the time, practice 100%, work, and I'm still going to be, a jerk to you in the media type of thing. I think there's more finesse there from a Rick Tocchet, but he's still kind of gruff. Whereas Woodcroft isn't. He's more of a thinker.
Yeah.
Just to use those two as contrast.
A communicator more.
Yeah, communicator.
But then because I look at Keefe out there and he's ripping these guys and then he's massaging them like it's probably like one of your relationships, Tommy. It's just all over the place. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a lover, not a fighter, Joaquin. But now I'll just end this. Talking to some people that cover the Leafs, and a guy who does that on a regular basis is Dave Pagnotta, who's on Hello Hockey with us every Saturday from 10 to noon here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Pagnotta's like, if things don't go well for Keefe, he could be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
After the All-Star game. So,
I
mean, that is a volatile hockey market in Toronto. It is always up and down.
I love the fact that they wanted Montgomery to coach because he coached the Leafs team kind of and said, they finally had success and won something.
Of course. Loomis texts in via the nasty chat, says, speaking of Woody, how's he doing? By all accounts, he seems to be doing all right. All right. Johnny Alberta says Woody reportedly uses the same gym as him. Yeah. I think he's just trying to fly a little bit low and under the radar until he gets an opportunity, which I'm assuming will be next season. A couple more texts. Smitty the welder, always a pleasure, Smitty. Niners win 34-21 and threw in a Tommy and Gager suck because we went with the Chiefs.
How do you go against Mahomes? It's tough.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I hope it's good though. I don't want a blowout.
I want a good game.
I want to feel anxiety throughout the whole game.
I want big plays.
Big plays, offense domination, great. Maybe throw in a few pick sixes to make it. Please, just get it.
Big hits.
Get it exciting.
Big hits. Yeah, I like it. All right, time for a sports update, and Gage will be doing the weather again. I love you taking to this weather thing. Respect the hell out of that. Right. I have to tell you. This sports update brought to you by the good folks at Park Mazda, where Mitch Lewicki is getting the mini weenies and Doritos ready to go for his Super Bowl party. Join him wherever that may be. Probably at Park Mazda. Right? All right. The Oilers returned to action after a quick pit stop in Palm Springs. Chris Dahlblock tinkered with his lineup, moving Cory Perry on a line with Leon Draisaitl and Evander Kane with Warren Fogle joining Dylan Holloway and Ryan McLeod on the third line. There were new D pairings at practice as well. Vinny Desharnais was paired up with Darnell Nurse, Matthias Ekholm with Cody Ceci, and Brett Kulak with Evan Bouchard. We'll see if that's what the lineup is tonight when the Oilers are in Anaheim. We've got the Oil Stream pregame show for you. Myself, Joaquin, Gage, and YouTube Trev right here on EST at 6:30. Also, the Toronto Raptors making a couple of moves at the trade deadline yesterday, acquiring Canadian big man Kelly Olynyk along with Ochai Agbaji from the Utah Jazz. Also in football, the MVP trophy, the AP MVP goes to Lamar Jackson for the second time in his career. Joe Flacco ends up winning the comeback player of the year. He also had Christian McCaffrey running away with the AP offensive player of the year. Browns edge rusher Myles Garrett beats out TJ Watt for the defensive player of the year. CJ Stroud winning the offensive rookie of the year award in a landslide. And then defensive end Will Anderson Jr., Stroud's teammate, wins the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year award, outgaining both Jalen Carter and Kobe Turner by 2 first-place votes tonight. Like I mentioned, the Oilers in action, a very light schedule in the National Hockey League. 2 other games outside of the Oilers and the Ducks. The Penguins visit the Wild, and then you got the Rangers visiting the Chicago Blackhawks. YouTube, Trev. We don't have music, but we do need to get to a sports update, weather update with Joaquin Gage.
Today's weather in the greater Edmonton area. We have partly cloudy conditions right now, expected from till about now till 8 or 10 a.m. Then we're going to hopefully mostly sunny, expected after 10 a.m. Okay. Right now, -10. Today we're looking at a high of -4, and we're at the low, Tommy. At
what are we
-10. We're -10 now at the old Leduc International Airport right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're doing great. I love the weather updates. This sports update brought to you by Park Mazda.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the night to check what's on our mind. 70218-9999. No more interference from corporate interests. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad guys. Like Wyszynski and Noodles, Gavik and Gage. But a cool bag to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late. Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We want to hear some classics and we want to hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I want to kiss away? He just a tie of fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramella, Rappaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. But they make my cousin in the tales of the North. I'll run a human person, does he go on? What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Very nice. 7:39 in Edmonton. You're listening to the Nielson Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty. Joaquin Gage for Lieutenant Eric. The boys are back on the hangout. We're kind of doing like a flipping of responsibilities.
It is, hey? Yeah, we flipped.
It's the travel.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't that bad. It's
No,
not
it's not that bad, obviously.
It's not Taylor Swift to Vegas.
No, from Japan, right?
Yeah.
No, not that. Although, she's not flying commercial.
No, it's her own plane.
Yeah.
Does she have her own plane?
Of course. She's
Does
a
she?
billionaire.
Yeah, I guess.
How do you not?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you just rent.
I suppose you could.
Yeah.
But I remember one time, speaking of, we were talking about the All-Star game and Bieber and stuff. When I was traveling with the Oilers back in the day, we landed in L.A. and Bieber's plane happened to land there. We didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
And he was doing Ellen the next day, and he was coming in from the UK. We're like, it's like 2:30 in the morning. The Oilers had lost the night prior. We're like, what's going on? You're looking, we're on the media bus because the team has its own bus, and then there's the media bus. And we're like, who's that? And you see these like two huge security guys, and then this like little guy comes down, hoodie, these oversized orange and blue shorts, and like big sneakers. Yeah. And you're like, is that Bieber? And we're like, no, it can't be. And then he starts walking towards the media bus, and all the trainers were putting all the Oilers bags on the truck because they were going right to Staples Center at the time, now Crypto.com Arena, to set up for the next day. And Oilers PR man at the time, JJ Barrett, looks and he goes, that is Bieber. And he's like, holy crap, boys, the guy, he's coming right up to our bus. And so the bus driver opens the door. JJ's like, hey, man, I'm JJ from the Oilers. How you doing? And he steps onto our bus and shakes JJ's hand. And he goes, I just want to wish the boys good luck.
Oh, nice.
And we all like looked. We're like,
holy smokes.
whoa, that's Bieber. And so as soon as he shook hands with JJ, Customs forcefully grabbed him and pulled his shoulder and goes, you did not clear. And they ripped him away and took him to go clear Customs. Yeah.
Oh, no
Which
way.
they do right there for the charters and the private
yeah.
flight. They do it right. Customs comes to you. You don't go to Customs.
Wow.
But the fact that he made physical contact with someone who had cleared.
I see.
It's a big no-no, even though he's Bieber. And so he didn't have a chance to go on the bus and say good luck to the Oilers. And so we got to the hotel, and I was talking to the players. We're all checking in, grabbing our cards. I'm like, boys, did you guys see Bieber? Like, no, what are you talking about, Tom, you idiot? And I'm like, he literally came on our bus and said he wanted to wish you guys good luck, but JJ shook his hand and Customs ripped him away. They're like,
funny.
No way, that's crazy. But everyone was so tired that they don't care and they half believe you.
Yeah.
It happened. Great. It was a real thing. And you know who's the most excited out of anyone?
You?
Gene Principe.
Oh yeah, he would be.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. So when all these celebrities, the private jets are coming in, you're like, who's that one?
It's funny walking around with Gene because he is one of the most recognized people in Edmonton.
Well, he is the mayor, quote unquote, as I like to call him. And I used that joke before Karen ended up on city council. And when we were in Vegas, actually, Jack Michaels and I went for a lunch, and we ran into Gene in I think it was the Cosmo, and some Oiler fans walked by, and they're like, "Oh, Gene! Oh, yeah. Jack! Hey, Tom!" And then the best was a couple of guys. They're talking to us, talking about the game that night, how they think the team's gonna do, and asking us some questions. And then one of them looks at me and goes, "Tom, can you take a picture of us with Jack and Gene?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
You love them.
Well,
you just tolerate me."
Yeah, on the panel when I did it, people would come in, and I almost feel guilty being in the picture because I can see them looking, and they're just like darts at Gene, waiting to get in there and take a picture with him at the panel. And he does such a good job.
He's an outstanding human being. Yeah. But yeah, I knew it. The reluctant here's
here.
They've got the camera ready, like, "Tom," and it's kind of like the side, like, "We like you, but we don't love you. Let's get a picture of Jack and Gene, and you take it."
Do you do the flip the camera and take a few of your own?
No.
Oh yeah,
I should do that.
I do that now. I
Really?
go, yeah. If they ask me to take a picture, they're getting a good 10 or 15 from me too.
You're eating up some of that.
Oh yeah, I got to eat up that data. Num 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 num.
Nom, 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 nom. Anyway, so it's interesting how things like that pop up on the road. And actually, shout out to Oil Country for showing up. There was a mini Edmonton in Vegas, and it's too bad there wasn't a bigger party post game.
Yeah.
The weather sucked. The team lost. A little bit deflated, but it was a Tuesday as well. And the streets were quiet. Like, the strip was super quiet. It was cold and rainy after the game, too. And
save it for playoffs.
Save it for playoffs, absolutely. Let's get to some nasty chat, as well as the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Some comments and stuff flying in, I see. Also, do send us some questions for 3 Questions Too Many. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. And if you want to play kind of easy trivia with Gager, a $25 GC to Mr. Mike's on the line, text us. Don't get at us in the nasty chat. 780-218-9999. Just tell YouTube Trev that you would like to play today. And Gager's already got his questions ready, so that's coming up in 14 minutes now.
Yeah, it's Super Bowl themed, so quick studying, cram it in. Shouldn't be too bad. I'm not Tom.
Perfect. Well, all right. What do we have here? Nasty Chat says, Barry says, "I thought I heard Taylor Swift just sold her private jet." Barry, she probably just bought a bigger one.
Yeah. Well,
I'm assuming. I don't know. I didn't hear.
What do those things run? They're like, what, 30, 40 million? I mean, that's nothing to her, I guess, but just the upkeep and all that stuff. I think it would be just cheaper just to, have a different one every time. I think that would be more fun. And just, okay, I want to rent a private jet to go to Japan for the week. It's probably cheaper.
Or you rent it for the entire tour, right?
Yeah, So
say it's like a 80-day tour.
Yeah.
And it's a global tour. They probably cut you a deal because it's expensive regardless.
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, they were showing like Drake's plane because didn't he get into some hot water or something?
What did he do?
He recorded someone. He was recording himself, and it has somehow leaked, and there was some provocative photos of himself or something like that. I think I don't know.
Okay,
but he had like a bed in his plane, like a big, huge bed. Like, it's crazy. It looked like there was gold everywhere too, but I don't know.
These guys trick out their planes and girls.
Yeah. I think I would like to. I'd like variety. If I'm that rich, I want to go on different planes unless I have something that I really enjoy. But yeah, I'd like to see how the other half lives too.
You're not putting regular seats in a private
jet.
No. Especially if you have like the jumbo jets. Like, there are a few times you'd land in New York, Arizona, LA, Dallas, and there would be some prince from a Middle Eastern country, oil rich, obviously, and they're like, that's they're like, that's the Prince so-and-so's jet. It's been parked here for 3 weeks. He's just having a little vacation.
Jesus.
And you're like, oh, that's a huge plane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What about a yacht? Have you ever been on a rich yacht?
No.
Yeah.
I imagine it's fun.
I think I'd like that.
That would be cool.
I'd have my own yacht.
You need to go to Monaco. Or,
You
need the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
What do we got? Fergie's prostate says, the desk looks nice and tidy. Keep it that way, Tom and Gager, Fergie's prostate. Yep. It was actually relatively tidy when we showed up today, but it'll be a mess by the time Dusty gets here, and certainly by the time Monday's show rolls around, I did have to clear out a couple of A&W mugs.
Oh, Eric Stewart. I also heard she sold jets because College Kid was posting her flight tracker info. She got caught taking a 20-minute flight. Yeah, I read that she asked there's that guy that tracks all the celebrities' planes and stuff. So that's another thing you probably want to avoid too. But that's just weird.
So she had a 20-minute flight?
Yeah, but
Edmonton to Calgary?
Yeah. So what? Yeah. Well,
and she got in trouble for that?
Probably because of her stance on the environment or something, and that's the first thing they go to when people donate millions of dollars to something, but they're caught. It's just like F1. They're all the renewable stuff, but then you see their carbon footprint. It's crazy what they do, but
at least they're trying to do
they're
something.
trying to do something. It's not like they're just not doing something. So
nobody's
whatever.
Perfect. I don't know. I'm not defending this. I'm not defending. I'm not getting involved. Also, if you want to get your text, you've got a spicy hot take, text us, A&W text of the day. There was one earlier that I need to get back to. That's the front runner. I think it was from, do you remember, Trev?
No.
Strummy? It might have been Strummy.
I can look back. I'll look back.
I'll figure it out. The A&W Spicy Dill Pickle Mama Burger's back and now available as a Buddy Burger. Starting at just $3.99, these grass-fed beef burgers are topped with pickles, an onion slice, real cheddar cheese, and slathered in creamy, spicy dill pickle sauce. Available for a limited time only at A&W. Eric says, I also heard she sold half of her jets because College Kid was posting. Okay, so that was the one you were reading. She's suing the flight trackers now. That's from Andrew. And then Loomis adds, it's a bit hypocritical, eh?
I like Penner's Pancakes in there.
Has
Zach been reprimanded for his improper work attire?
Well, we've discussed this. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you look, there, it can go one or two ways. You know, you don't put yourself in a situation where you're a polarizing figure in an Oilers ravenous kind of situation where Oilers win, it's good. Oilers lose, now you're being treated like the monster of Frankenstein.
Well,
the Frankenstein monster.
it was like Zach Tecum is what, 3 weeks into his practicum?
Yeah, right around a month now.
He's
Yeah.
been under your wing and Owanik's wing mostly.
Yes. So this is my fault. I'm sorry.
You allowed this.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I see him on the screen. We're setting up for the show. I'm getting pregame show stuff prepped at the last second. And there's young Zach Tecum. You're like, Zach Tecum's doing the pregame show tonight. And I'm like, okay, sure. Zach Tecum's been getting better and better, as he should. We're getting him on a little bit more. He needs to be up and running broadcaster by the time that his practicum is done. And he pops on with a VGK cap.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch it. And I was like, whoa, interesting choice of hat.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that, and you were shocked.
I think I handled it well. I was like,
yeah, there was some slight.
wait a sec.
You had the side head. It's like when I asked my dog to go for a walk. You saw it, and you kind of just gave it the.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
And he changed it. They did lose, but like you said, had they won, people would be like, "Oh, you're funny."
Yeah.
And then they didn't, and they go, "Oh."
I think he would have got ripped even if they won too.
He's getting ripped.
That's a lose situation.
Yeah,
but you know what? We learn from our mistakes.
We learn. And
I'm
we
a
move
genius.
Brilliant. Beef Nips in the Paris Jewelers inbox says the bed wasn't the only thing huge in the Drake leak. Oh boy.
Yeah.
What did I miss? I don't care for celebrity.
No, sometimes the TikTok algorithm goes down the dark web, and there was a lot of comments on the everything below the equator with Drake. So.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, boy. Good for him.
Hey, you know
That's
what?
great.
Sure.
Good.
It's not bad press.
No, I guess not. iMac chiming in says, F1 is trying alternative fuel. Swift is racing to hook up, and that's a big difference from iMac. Because remember when Indy was, what were they using? Ethanol?
Yeah.
What's F1 running for fuel?
Well, they want to get to a point where the fuel is completely reusable. Like they're not.
How do you do that?
I have no idea.
You're burning. You're literally burning fuel.
They're what is it? 2028. They want to be.
They're not going electric.
No. They're looking for. I have to do a deep
more
dive into sustainable
fuel source.
Yeah, I guess is what it's because I still don't understand why they don't stay in a certain area of the globe and finish all the races there before moving on. That doesn't make any sense.
They're all over the place, right?
Well, it's a little bit better. I'm looking at this the schedule this year. But they're still going back and forth at times. Like I think I enjoy the European races mostly.
Yeah.
But I think they should just stay there. That like the Middle East, Europe, then Asia, coming back to the U.S.
The European portion of the season, the Asian portion of the season, the South American or
North America.
Yeah,
North
the
America,
Western
South America.
Hemisphere. Yeah.
So
I get that.
Yeah.
But they're 1 week they're here, next week they're across the globe. Well, they always take the break when they hop the pond, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually. But then I think Australia, the Melbourne's a little bit later this year, so I have to look again.
There's better ways to do it, I suppose.
There's always critics.
Yeah. Can't win them all.
Nope.
Can't win them all. All right, if you want to play kind of easy trivia, $25 GC to Mr. Mike's on the line. You're going to be getting the questions today from one Joaquin Bartholomew Gage. That is your middle name, right?
I'll have to check the birth certificate. I think it's.
Okay. And fire us some questions as well for 3 questions too many. I see some coming in already. I believe his name was Connor down in Vegas. We were having our, call it, debrief on Wednesday, and we stopped at a little burger shack at Park MGM. And he's a friend of Surveyor Brett, and Dusty posted on X, I almost said tweeted, a picture of his burger. And
oh, yeah.
And I think it was Surveyor Brett relayed this to Connor. The guys are at this burger place, and the guy, he was like right over, and he goes, he's like, Dustin Bartholomew Nielsen. Here, I'm Connor. Tom, nice to meet you. Matthew, Eric, nice to meet you. And as soon as he dropped the Bartholomew, I was like, yes, I did it.
It's catching on.
I did it. So if you want to play kind of easy trivia with Joaquin Bartholomew Gager, that is a Bible name, right? It is.
It's actually Danger, but
Danger. Hit us up, 780-218-9999. Just tell YouTube Trev you want to play, and YouTube Trev will pick someone to play and get that, hopefully, $25 GC to Mr. Mike's. Time now for a sports update as we get into hour number 3 of the Nielson Show. This sports update brought to you by Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeymen, bricklayers, and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader of safety. Visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy. Give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728. That number again, 780-910-6728. Time now for this sports update brought to you by Claiborne Services. The Oilers returned to action after a quick pit stop in Palm Springs after their loss in Vegas. Chris Knobloch tinkering with his lines, had Cory Perry up on a line with Leon Draisaitl and Evander Kane, while Warren Fogle skated with Dylan Holloway and Ryan McLeod on the third line. There were new D pairings at practice yesterday. Vinny Desharnais was paired up with Darnell Nurse, Matthias Ekholm with Cody Ceci, and Brett Kulak skated with Evan Bouchard. We'll see if that's what the group goes with tonight or if Knobloch reverts back to the old pairings and old lines. We'll let you know as soon as we can on the Oil Stream pregame show. Tonight, 6:30 p.m., we get going. Myself, Joaquin, and YouTube Trev right here on EST. Also, the Toronto Raptors making a couple of moves at the NBA trade deadline, acquiring Canadian big man Kelly Olynyk along with Ochai Agbaji from the Jazz. You had Lamar Jackson being named the AP MVP for the second time in his career. Other winners yesterday in the National Football League, Christian McCaffrey ran away with the AP Offensive Player of the Year award. He killed my Arizona Cardinals, like 6 TDs in 2 games, Gager. It was painful. Cleveland Browns edge rusher Myles Garrett beats out TJ Watt for AP Defensive Player of the Year. Houston Texans QB CJ Stroud won the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year award in a landslide, and defensive end Will Anderson Jr. won the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year award, while Browns QB Joe Flacco came off the couch to lead the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs, and he did pick up the AP Comeback Player of the Year award. Just 3 games in the National Hockey League. Tonight, you've got the Oilers and the Ducks. You've got the Rangers visiting the Blackhawks, and the Penguins are in Minnesota to take on the Wild. Your old teammate Bill Guerin named U.S. Olympic team
cool.
GM.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And I think he's also the GM for the Four Nations face-off next year as well.
I can see that.
Smart man.
Smart man. Great guy.
Time now for an EST weather update with Joaquin Bartholomew Gage.
Currently, we are at -10, partly cloudy conditions till around that 10 a.m. mark. We've got a high of -4. We are currently at the low of -10. Hopefully that sun comes out and it gets it's kind of perfect ODR weather. Creation of the ODR. Maybe
fantastic.
Maybe Bartholomew Nielson is out there spraying as we speak.
He was worried about his ODR in the backyard. Yeah, he was talking about that. He was very, very pensive and worried and concerned that it might not be ready to rock when he came back. But the weather is, as you put it, ideal ODR weather.
Ideal ODR weather.
There you go. That was your sports update brought to you by Clay Bird Services. Check them out at www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy. Give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728. They are hiring all positions, including journeymen, bricklayers, and apprentices at all levels. So if you're looking for some work, get after Clayburn Services. When we come back, it's going to be kind of easy trivia with Joaquin Gage, $25 GC to Mr. Mike's on the line, and we'll also get to 3 questions to many in the final hour of the Nielson Show on this lovely Friday. With myself, Tom Gazzola, and Joaquin Gage and YouTube Trev, we will be joined by one Redbeard, Scott Laurie himself, for the Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. Quick break, and when we return, kind of easy trivia. Edmonton, 8:03. It is the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage, YouTube Trev with you this morning. Join the conversation as always. Hit us up in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Valentine's Day just around the corner, so it's time to find something for the one you love at Paris Jewelers. Canadian and family-owned with 22 locations across the country. Go see our friends at PJ's. They'll look after you, or you can hop online at parisjewelers.com. We are in the Popeye studio, where you can still pick up your Oilers Collector's Cup from all Popeyes locations for $16.99. You get a classic chicken sandwich, nuggets, Cajun fries, medium drink, dipping sauce, and one of 4 Oilers Collector's Cups. I think they're on Ekholm and Nugent Hopkins right now to wrap things up.
So you go to Paris Jewelers, get something for the significant person in your life, wrap it with some Popeyes, 2 birds, 1 stone. Hit it out of the park.
Brilliant.
Hey?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Here's the wings, honey.
Oh, look at that. What's that shiny thing?
It's a tennis bracelet.
You shouldn't have. It is Valentine's Day coming up, next week? Yeah. All right.
Trev, who do we got?
Who do we have? Yeah.
Yeah, we have Double A or Aaron.
Aaron.
Good old Aaron.
Aaron, have you put any preparation into this very tough 5 questions that I'm about to unleash on you?
No.
Sweet. I love it. I love it. Well, are you a Super Bowl fan, Aaron? Are you a Super Bowl fan?
I am.
Okay,
I am.
Perfect. I think
one of my teams happens to be in the game. So.
Oh, which one?
I'm a big Niners guy.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't hold that against you.
Ouch.
Here we go.
Saucy.
The ticker will start after I read the first question. Aaron, who plays in the Super Bowl this weekend?
Niners and the Chiefs.
Name the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes.
In what city is the Super Bowl being played?
Las Vegas.
What artist is performing in the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year?
Usher.
Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift after the big win?
Good God, I hope not.
On both fronts.
That's it. We got a winner.
There we go.
My man.
Well done, Aaron. Mr. Mike's kind of easy trivia. Of course, $25 GC for Aaron. Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. Now with a 6 o'clocker lager on tap.
Didn't know if he was going to get that last one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
5 for 5.
That was a
Perfect.
good. Yeah. That one was good. There's a couple of things in there. I'm gonna leave them be. But what do you gave me the side eye there? All good.
How much longer are you going to keep that mustache too?
I think until playoffs, and then I'm gonna take her off then.
Really?
Yes. It's getting so annoying. I hate it. It's like waking up in the morning, it's all over the place. So yeah, it's definitely it needs to go. It really does, but I'm gonna toughen her out until playoffs.
All right. Well, that's good. Start fresh. Yeah, and then what about you, Tommy? Playoff beard this year?
No.
I
let my goatee thing happen for like a few days last week.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. It looked like a rat had died on my face.
Just splash your face with milk and get a cat to lick it off afterwards.
Ew.
Don't even have to shave.
Oh boy! Congrats, Aaron, on winning kind of easy trivia today. $25 GC to Mr. Mike's. Trev will get your information, and you can pick up that GC right here at the EST Global Studios in West Edmonton. Time now to get to 3 questions too many, brought to you by the good folks at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki, your dealer for life. I want to make a clever note of some sort like Eric does, but I don't have anything brilliant. I just think that Mitch Lewicki is misunderstood. And we don't do him any favors when we read these liners.
No, he's great. I've only met him once. I've said this before.
I haven't met him yet.
No?
No.
Yeah, he was greased. But great guy. Really, he's young, too. And there was a point where I was thinking of I was leaning towards a new Mazda. I know my wife really wants the CX-9.
Yeah,
it's a nice vehicle. So maybe we'll venture out and have an afternoon with Mitch, and he actually offered to, he'd have one ready for me and stuff, but I kind of got busy. I'll have to get back out there at some point.
All right. I had some questions for 3 questions too many. Where'd they go? One came in from Fergie's prostate, pardon me.
Okay.
Said, boys, question, why did you use headsets in Vegas and now you're using earbuds? That's weird. What's the deal? From Fergie's prostate. Well, the headsets have the mics, and that's our road kit.
Yeah.
Too. That's when we're here in studio, we have like studio mics, and then the headsets. The headsets are great, though. That was a great foreshadowing when Dusty had the headsets for like Oil Stream and Two Guys and a Goalie, or when we were at BP's for Oil Stream, knowing that the potential for our station to be shuttered would happen, and it did. But yeah, Fergie, that's just for when we're on the road. The noise-canceling headphones with the microphone.
They're super nice.
They are great.
I don't know if you...
luxurious.
Most people have played video games at some point. Like those were... I could use those to slay the noobs in Destiny for sure. They were nice.
Yeah, they are great, and that's why we use them. But when you're in studio, we just use the studio microphones. And then, we could wear... At 1260, we had like the actual headphones, but here we could use those. We could use headphones, but it looks... I don't want to mess up my hair, first of all.
Yeah, me neither.
And then the other thing is we have our own earbuds that I love mine.
Yeah, so. I got my cubby here, which is nice.
And Belzy have
in
your
the cloakroom,
cubbies.
and I just I slap the earbuds in there, and it's nice to know there's a part of me here even when I'm gone.
Your slippers are right at the front entrance.
They're on my feet now.
Well, yeah.
No, I made it comfy.
I think Cass has a cubby too. I know Belzy has one. He keeps his backscape in there. This one from a Bootski comes in, says, to me, the big local sports story yesterday was the release of future Hall of Fame defensive tackle and Edmonton resident Armando Sewell by the Montreal Alouettes. He's already stated he'd like to come back to the green and gold, and I'm here for it. Why? A, he could still be effective in a rotational role, and B, I love the guy from a Bootski. A Bootski, I also very much respect Armando Sewell. He was a great Eskimo and a good member of the green and gold. He put together a bunch of good years with the Alouettes. I'm glad he got another Grey Cup ring under Jason Moss in Montreal. Oh, I see what you're doing. No, YouTube Trev. Would he come back here? I know he has a significant other that's here.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's obviously part of it. I was kind of sad that he left or had to move on, let's say, from the green and gold. I don't know. How effective could he be? I know he's in the latter stages of his career. I'm open to it, but I'm also like, they got Robert Kindici, who was an Arizona Cardinal, a first-round pick. Kind of a different guy from what I understand. Will he make the team? Will he be satisfied playing up here in Canada? Is it going to resuscitate his career? What's his attitude? Big question. And I know they brought in a couple of guys to try out, let's say, on the D-line to replace Jake Seresna.
I don't know. They have to. Is it an improvement, though, Tommy? Is it good? Like, they need to improve. I don't
D-line was all right. It's the O-line that we're going. Is there more coming, or are we sticking with what happened last year? Okay, this one comes in, says, boys, electric F1 already exists, Formula E. That's from Brandon the Nerd.
Oh, I know that. They're not going full electric, though. Those cars sound hilarious.
The full electric?
Yeah.
What are they, like, do they buzz?
Yeah, they buzz. And there's a part of the track where they can recharge their battery, too, like so it's kind of weird. But it's only a certain amount of laps, and then it can kind of change depending on the charge of the cars. I haven't dove too far into Formula E. I've watched a few races, but
you call yourself a fan? Well,
there's so much motorsports to. I want to try to kind of watch some NASCAR. There's a new Netflix series with the NASCAR stuff, so I watched the first little bit of it. There's a lot of drama in that, too. So, but there's just so much more, it seems, with the F1 cars and so much more into it. But I'm sure I can get into NASCAR as
You
well.
could. The way you deep dive into F1, I'm sure you could
It's a passion, Tommy.
pick
It's
up
passion.
the circuit with the predominantly left-hand turns.
Yeah, I know.
I actually read around 2001, the Dale Earnhardt race
When he passed away,
Daytona.
Yeah.
I was like starting to get into NASCAR. I was playing the EA Sports NASCAR game. I liked Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon. It was around that time. And then it quickly faded. I think I followed one season. And I was like,
I remember my trainer at the time. He was with the Hamilton Bulldogs, a Oilers affiliate team, and he was huge NASCAR. Like in the training room, the equipment guy, he had NASCAR stuff everywhere, and he died. He was like sitting there crying in the.
it was super sad.
Yeah, like, and I talked to him, and I was like, "Geez, sorry, Murray, this is pretty bad." He goes, "Yeah, this is." I go. He started talking about Earnhardt, and he goes, "Just imagine, to me, he was my Wayne Gretzky. He was the what was the eliminator? Intimidator.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, sad, really sad.
And it seemed innocuous the way he went into the wall.
Well, yeah, it was just I watched a thing on it. He just went in with such force that his, objects in motion stay in motion, and the impact from his brain hitting the front of his skull did it.
I can't remember if he wore like a different type of helmet at the time.
Well, he didn't wear the protection thing, and after that, everyone adopted it, right? So that probably would have, I think it would have saved his life.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super, super sad. All right, Big G says, here's a question for 3 questions too many. What kind of prop bets do you think there will be for Taylor Swift? P.S. I didn't read the link you guys sent yet. Sorry about that, Big G. I don't know what link you're talking about, but what do you think of prop bets for Taylor Swift?
I don't know how many heart symbols she gang signs she flashes up, I guess, and if Jason Kelce goes shirtless, I think that could be a prop bet. I don't know. We'll have to. I haven't looked yet.
Interesting. Last one. Actually, there's 2 more I want to get to. We'll do some bonus.
Sweet.
3 questions too many. Scott Laurie on the way, by the way, for Sobeys and Safeway Beer of the Week. Looking forward to that. This text says, Gager, what's your stand on IndyCar? You're saying you want to dabble in NASCAR a little bit. You know a bit about Formula E. You're the master of F1 around these parts. What about IndyCar?
That was my first back when the Vancouver Indy. I attended that race a lot with my buddies.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, no, I if I want to be the official, like the poor man's Tim Hauraney here at EST, I think I have to dabble in all sports. So, and you know what? You see some of the F1 drivers migrate into IndyCar. IndyCar is great. Like, there's a lot of excitement in there. I think the playing field is a little bit more level, so you really see the ability of the drivers. It's a little bit more dangerous. I think these cars are faster.
Yes, that's something that people don't always, or maybe it's a misconception, is the IndyCar, I think the top speed is slightly faster than F1.
They're faster, but the handling isn't the same. Right? So I think there's a lot more technology goes into the F1 cars compared to the Indy cars, but very, very exciting racing. I mean, if you watch that Indy 500, I believe last year, there was like 10 lead changes and 5 red flags in the last 6 laps and stuff. So, and Zach Brown was going nuts. So yeah, I'll definitely dive into a little bit more IndyCar, and we can have some discussions this year.
So F1 went with the halo, right? IndyCar went with the glass.
The glass, but yeah.
Did you ever read up on that?
No, I did read up on the halo, the whole, and even there was Toto Wolff saying that he didn't even want this thing, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, he had said this earlier. They adopted the halo, and that it's probably saved, 10 lives having that halo on there.
Saved Lewis Hamilton's life when Max Verstappen went
drove over top of him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's amazing when you watch some of the old. Like, there's that great Senna documentary and the change of the car and and how he died. Just those
Wasn't
types
it a
of
piece of
or hitting the wall and losing control. But it was I don't know if you've watched there's a Schumacher documentary too, where Schumacher coming up Senna was the big dog and Schumacher was the young buck kind of chasing him, and Senna went into. They said there was probably a malfunction with the cars, the reason why it happened, but he was being pushed by Schumacher, and he didn't like the new kind of equipment going into the car that didn't allow you to see the actual skill of the driver.
Right.
You hear Senna go through Monaco, and you see the gear shift and how he's doing it.
That
It's
was
just
crazy.
It's just, and the I think Brundle was talking about the way he would clutch and accelerate through the corners. Just no one could do that. Just the skill of some of these guys is amazing.
It was Justin Wilson IndyCar that had debris hit his head.
Yeah, and
I remember that.
Exactly, yeah.
I interviewed him. I had a one-on-one with him at the Edmonton Indy. Just an absolutely fantastic person. Like, first of all, race car drivers in general, especially Indy guys, are and girls, because obviously there's been women that have raced in Indy. They're great doing media because they sell.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling, and they know how to handle it, and they're just so easy to deal with. And that was my first IndyCar coverage that I ever got to do. And I remember a one-on-one with Justin Wilson, and I was like, this guy's awesome. And he knows I have no clue what I'm talking about. But he gave me something. I was filling in at the score at the time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I always like to hear, like, former, especially with drivers like that. Like, I think, obviously, I'm a F1 TV guy, but I do watch the Sky Sports, and I think even Danica Patrick signed on to do more races this year. Her knowledge, being a former racer, and Jacques Villeneuve, like hearing how they pose the questions sometimes, it really gets into the intricacies of driving, which is fascinating to me.
It is motorsport is neat.
Yeah.
The technical aspect, the punishment that the body takes in NASCAR, in F1, in Indy, it's incredible. G-forces and all of that.
Yeah, like they show it there, like hitting 5-6 G-forces. Like, I know it's not there. What was it? Was it the Mindbender? What was the
Mindbender at
West End Mall? Like, when you went over those loop-de-loops, like, feel that, but do that over a course of even more. Like, I think the top G-force was like 4 or 5 there.
Wow.
Imagine 6 consistently over an hour and a half period. That's
insane.
That's insane, man.
One more bonus. Tommy, off-topic question. Why is it when you're on CTV, they refer to you as sports analyst? Shouldn't you be EST sports analyst /anchor/host? Yes, but that was negotiated so that I could be on there if we mentioned EST at the time. I think that was kind of frowned. They didn't know what EST was.
Oh.
But that might be changing soon.
That'll change.
That might be changing soon. Details to come. Although, tough day for a lot of people at Bell Media yesterday.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, you see that? Was it 1,400 jobs let go? Was it that the number?
4,800.
48? Oh, more. Jeez.
Yeah.
That sucks when the rug's pulled out. I mean, I remember it was everyone remembers the exact moment 1260 went off. And
incredible.
I had it on in the house, and I went to the car, and Dusty was gone. You were doing the show.
Yeah.
And that moment from me leaving the front door to the car and putting on the radio, because it was automatic where my hand just went to turn it on, right? And I was like, am I in the right station? And I called you. You were my first call.
Yeah.
And then you said, Gage, we're going into the room and we're done. And then I was like, what? And then my phone blew up. Yeah. What's going on? I go, I don't know. But look where you are now. Everything happens for a reason. And I'm so glad that they didn't keep you on at this point, because what would this city do with the Oilers, where they are?
Yeah.
And I mean, with everything, with sports, but especially with a team that's considered to be a champion, and not having that outlet, that would be awful.
Yeah, I suppose that was the timing worked out.
Yeah.
Okay, although it was that was insane. But just my heart goes out to everybody that's affected by it. That industry, on the news side, yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And luckily, sports keeps going. Obviously, news keeps happening. But on the sports side, we kind of saw our writing on the wall anyway. That's why Dusty had this already in motion.
Well, what was the name of the guy, the CTV guy? Were you here? Oh, you weren't here. He came and did a little blip and little hit with me a couple of weeks ago when we were talking, and like he has to do everything now.
Yeah.
You know, usually there was a guy, a reporter, camera.
Dan Grummett.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
He came and did some stuff. But, yeah, it's just like, I got to go do this. And they said they were hiring on a bunch of new guys to go work some. And I'm like, geez, are they going to last? And
well, really quickly, the way it's going, there's very rare situations where you have just an anchor, just a reporter in the field for a specific topic, like ledge, City Hall, crime. Like that's being eliminated.
Yeah.
There's no more sports departments. Although Global brought Slav back and went back into bringing on a sports segment, which is great. That's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. Everyone's like a multi-journalist.
Yeah.
Where they had to shoot, edit,
do everything,
report. And
that's difficult.
That's no bueno, in my opinion. They're doing it on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The people that have been around for a long time are being given packages and saying, thanks, but no thanks. We don't need you. We're going to go get so-and-so that's been in the industry for a year or two, which is great for those up-and-comers. But you're not going to put them into a homicide story that's been under investigation for 5 years and go, all right, this is yours now. By the way, you have to shoot, edit, and report on this, and you need it to be ready by 6 o'clock. And you're in court at 3, so you have 3 hours to turn this bad boy around. That's where it's going. On the sports side, sports will always happen. There's always going to be interest. How you consume sports media, that's evolved. We feel like we're on the front part of the evolution.
Yeah, everything
forced
changes.
To be.
Yeah,
everything's changing. But this market has some options, and that's good. Mm-hmm. Competition's great. We've adapted, we've evolved, and but just at the end of the day, I feel really bad for some friends who lost their job yesterday here in Edmonton and across the country, and not surprised to see that more cuts have come. And it won't just be CTV, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Bell. It sucks. But that'll do it for kind of easy trivia and 3 questions too many. On a much more positive note, the beer has arrived, and Scott's there with a big smile on his face. Trev, do we have to get to a sports update, or what do we have here?
No sports update in this hour.
So we're gonna get ready for
beer of the week.
Yeah.
Play
the song.
Are you on to right now?
When do you want to do it? Scott, are you ready? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give it a go.
Gage is thirsty.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Boom. Here we go.
much. This is I think this is the first time we've had this
ensemble
configuration of beer drinkers in the morning.
It's a step up.
I feel like it is.
He brought in his own chalice.
I know. I love it. I'll just pass you a can. Like I pour, the little baby ones here for sampling. I could just give you the can and away you go. But that looks like it came with you from a long way. Like
this is a shout out to my boy Snape from Salazar Slytherin. Yeah, Slytherin House. This is
cool.
And it's a fantastic mug to drink beer out of.
Yeah. The mug's important. Yeah. The mug's important for sure.
Exactly.
Statement piece.
Well, when you go to like in Europe, in Germany, every beer has their own design glass because it's supposed to pour a certain way and bring out the flavor. So I find that this works quite well too.
I respect the hell out of that, Gage, and I'm not even surprised anymore. Slippers.
Oh yeah.
Hofbrauhaus? Oh yeah. I've been to Hofbrauhaus. All right. Hey, is Scott's mic back? Try it now.
We're good?
No,
it's good now?
It was great, and then it went away, and now it's back.
I blame me. Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Blame
Trev. Trev's working hard over there.
He's working.
He needed a double flex there for the camera, I think, just to show how much he's working.
Oh, double flex.
Double flex.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, what are we doing
today? We're drinking, it's from Canmore. We're drinking Grizzly Paw.
Yum.
Anyone that's been to Canmore has been to the original Grizzly Paw pub, probably. Yeah. It's a great spot.
It is a great spot.
I got tons of good memories in there. They've got 2 places in Canmore to go. They've got the Tank 310 as well, which is it's a very different spot than the original Grizzly Paw pub because you're looking over, it's a brand new big building, right? It's beautiful, but they make great beers. We have a mountain mixer pack that we've got this week. It's kind of that perfect, people are having people over for Super Bowl, but you want to try and have a mixture of beers in your fridge. You want some, a style for everybody. So it's the perfect timing to have these 4 different styles of beer. So we're going to have the Rutling Elk Red. We've got the Grumpy Bear Honey Wheat, a Beaver Tail Raspberry Ale, and then we've got the Rundlestone Easy IPA. So no double IPAs for you this week.
That's all right.
We'll just touch on the easy one this week. So they're all easy drinking. They're all kind of, low to mid alcohol beers and kind of that, one you can have more than one of all of these beers. They're really good. So and again, it's $24.99, so you're saving $7.
Okay.
You buy 2 of them, you get another 300 points, another $3 off. It's just it's a great deal again to kind of load your fridge up when you're having people over for Super Bowl. So I think we should start with the Grumpy Bear Honey Wheat.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's this one here, 5% low IBU. It's a beautiful. You want the one in your glass, or how do you want to do this?
That's fine.
That's good for now. You can pick the one you like, and then fire that one into the old Snape.
That'll work.
Yeah. So this is it's the Grumpy Bear Honey Wheat. Again, 5% alcohol, sweet, easy drinking, little hint of honey, just sweet enough. But it's like the description says, it's a great place to start.
I like it. There aren't a lot of beers I don't like, though, Scott. So
no, I know.
It smells very, very good, though.
Cheers. All of these beers are right up your alley.
Yeah.
I like the style of beer that you like. You're gonna like all 4 of these beers. So you get kind of the 4 styles, 3 of each in each pack. That beer's clean, crisp, sweet, just a tinge.
Smooth.
I have hints of summer on a patio.
Yeah.
They all have that, but this is kind of that light with that little sweetness. Yeah, that's nice.
Super refreshing.
Yeah.
Just the right amount of kind of saliva getting produced there in the back of your palate. But very, very easy drinking beer.
Grumpy Bear.
Grumpy Bear.
I love it.
Grumpy Bear.
Doesn't make me grumpy.
No,
sir.
No. If you are, just continue with it, and it'll get better. So let's go with the Beaver Tail Raspberry. The Beaver Tail Raspberry, this is kind of that. Again, more kind of summery feel, but with the weather we're having right now, anyway, it doesn't really feel like winter. We started to get into the kind of the red ales and everything earlier, and it's we're kind of going back to these nice light beers, but. This one here, pink, little bit of a pink hue to it.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of fresh raspberries in this one. Very refreshing light beer, 5% again. And it's an unfiltered beer, so you can kind of see the difference there. It's not that clean see-through of the Grumpy Bear, the honey wheat. This is unfiltered, so you're going to get some of that kind of cloudiness to it.
Okay, whose cheers is this?
Cheers to Bob Stauffer. hopefully being a recurring guest on, on the Hangout.
That was hilarious.
Cheers stuff.
Oh,
Very subtle raspberry. Very subtle.
That raspberry hits late too. Yeah. This is for Super Bowl. I could see the people just there for Taylor Swift liking that one. Right. So the Taylor Swift beer. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I find the raspberry can be a difficult flavor to hit. I think I've said this before, but sometimes it can kind of seem artificial. Because it's got that kind of weird, I don't know what like an aspartame. Yeah.
Oh.
And this one does. They use real raspberries, so you get that freshness to it. A nice ripe raspberry finish, so you can definitely tell the difference when they're using not great ingredients, and with all of these craft beers that we can find, that is what makes them so great is the care and the attention they do to put into these craft beers. So
part of the when they're creating the beer, when does the raspberry go in? Quite late.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
a lot of times the beer is almost done.
Yeah,
and then they're putting that through. To just kind of finish it almost, I think that's the genius of these is that they've all got they create these flavoring. It's all the same ingredients, right? Like there's a bunch of different raspberry ales out there. There's different honey wheats out there, but they all taste that little bit different because of the water, because of the malt, because of the hop, that they're choosing, and the way they're making them creates this unique. That is their own, and it's neat how you can kind of taste breweries like the Grizzly Paw, and you can kind of see how they're all very like breweries.
I was the first one to try the 6 o'clock lager. I got in crap by
from
Matt,
who just walked in. Hello, Matthew.
With his Rolly hockey bag.
That's got all the gear.
Oh, okay, phew.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, with Alley Cat, I felt like I could. It tasted similar to Alley Cat style of beers. I find I can. My palate has increased so far, Tommy, that I can.
It's
actually,
robust.
Yeah, I can.
Nice.
I'm like a sommelier of beer almost. I can tell you the region and
Scott,
the area of where this beer was brewed.
I think it'd be a fun challenge.
That would be a
right?
great challenge.
A blind challenge of what brewery is this in Alberta?
I'll take that.
I think that'd be fun to do.
I want to say one thing about the Beaver Tail Raspberry by Grizzly Paw. It says fresh, delicious, and tart. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that was tart. The fresh and delicious, yeah, okay, but the tart I didn't pick up on.
So again, like it's tough sometimes when we're pouring these little samples. If you were to pour this into a nice big glass, and we always say pour it fast, let it breathe.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Let the bubbles are good.
Yeah.
You want bubbles in your beer, and so if you pour these fast and you drink the whole thing, you're gonna get more and more of that raspberry come through.
Okay.
With us again, it's difficult because you just tasted a honey, so that sweetness is still kind of lingering in your mouth. It's why I try and drink them in a certain order to try and maximize that. Like we usually don't drink a heavy stout to start with. We usually finish with them.
Well, I appreciate that.
You can kind of bust your palate.
Personally.
Yeah. We'll get you there.
Palate buster.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
I know you're saying that because it's probably true.
Yeah. Your styles.
But I don't want to believe it.
Your styles change. If you think of like when you first started, when you're 18 and you're just starting to drink beer, what your flavor what you like now is very, very different.
May I say what I was drinking at 18?
Sure.
Molson Canadian Ice.
Yeah.
5.5%.
Yeah. I mean, there's a spot for every beer in every day.
Well said.
But I think to mix in some flavor, to mix in some different stuff, your palate changes. I know I was not the biggest IPA guy when I first started in the craft beer. I really liked the lager.
Yeah.
Now I find that I lean towards a pale ale. Like I've kind of gone the full spectrum, and you can kind of go. You'll get there.
Okay.
So look at Dusty.
Prime
example of
my
flavor
buddy
changing.
Was in town that I grew up with, and there was the ices that we went through to get us there as younger, but he started working in the bar industry, and the Shaftesbury was a brewery out on the coast, and they had a rainforest ale, and it was a little bit darker and a little bit more on the IPA side, and that was my first. I like taste in these things.
That was your gateway beer.
That was my gateway beer.
Yeah. Brewster's for me was kind of a Brewster's and Big Rock.
Yeah.
The traditional ale was probably the first one that I drank a lot of.
Trad's
good.
Trad was good.
I'm going to admit this. So you've been to my place, but in my office/studio, I have a beer fridge, and all like the heavy, tougher beers, I have them saved for you specifically.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's not a bad spot to be in.
No, it's I'm touched, Tommy. Thank you.
Oh, I brought extra because we heard that Trev and Zach drank all the beer in the fridge.
Did you guys?
So we brought a little extra.
Oh, well, okay. They didn't burn the place down.
Exactly. Trev was in charge.
Yeah.
Right? The mustache was in charge.
Formidable. All right, where to
so let's
next,
go now. Let's go the Rutting Elk Red. So this is a Scottish style red ale. So Scottish style. We're finding there's quite a bit more of that kind of style coming out. That kind of a little bit of red, little malt forward. As again, kind of more of that winter style. We're getting kind of away from people are getting away from that kind of tropical, summery style to more of this malty, little darker. Just a little bit of chocolate, tiny bit of chocolate in that, but just an English hops. You can see the color. We talked about trad, kind of that similar kind of getting into a darker beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can.
This is Scottish red, you said?
It's the Rutting Elk Red, but it's a Scottish style red ale.
Okay.
Yeah, so it falls into that
So
style.
this is
Malt
right
forward.
up your alley, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, I like that we're going with this trend of malt forward beers. They're really good for winter time and for warming you up. There's a warming feel to kind of to an ale.
And
Tommy's Rutting 365. Too, so.
Hey, I almost got married this week.
Exactly.
It's Vegas. You might have. Cheers to Tom's
cheers.
wedding.
You're invited.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, it a little bit of pop out off the top and then smooth at the end.
Yeah.
On the back
Yeah,
end.
that's
Is
that
a good way to
malt.
put it?
You're going to get in that coating. I find them again. This one here, if you pour this one out and you drink this one full, you're really going to kind of coat your mouth. It's going to have that kind of that lingering effect. Whereas again, the grumpy wheat, clean, crisp, fast, delicious, refreshing. This one lingers a little bit on your palate. You're going to get a little thickness. Kind of building up.
It's not overbearing though.
No. All of these beers, they're all 5%. They're all really, really, really drinkable beers, and that's what makes this mountain mixer super, super good for this kind of with Super Bowl and everything coming up. And
that's a third quarter beer.
oh, here we go.
Yeah. Third quarter
Ooh,
beer.
I thought we were gonna lose it there.
No.
A little bit of foam, but we're good.
Like a pro.
Good.
Like a true
This,
pro.
your pour is gonna be really terrible.
That's okay. I can deal with it.
I know you can. Look at that, beautiful.
That's
a
great.
European style
Yeah,
pour.
love
right
that
there.
is.
That's a Euro style pour.
The
feel like
European,
I'm-
I don't care. Here's your beer.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
you know what?
Style pour.
They're brewed a little differently. Like you want for those style of beers, like a lot of those styles that you are getting Euro, they're a little more carbonated. So you want that. They'll say, you want to have a little bit of head all the way through your beer, because if you don't, you'll find that if you go and you have a beer that is a little bit lower carbonated or one that's maybe flat, by the time you get to the bottom, it tastes different.
Yes.
It doesn't taste as good as that initial sip. Whereas a lot of those Euro style with that kind of heavy foam, you're going to get a more similar feel all the way through the beer because it stays, fresh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that smells delicious.
But this one, whenever I go there, this is the one I drink.
Yeah.
It's a low alcohol, 3.9%. So they've reduced the alcohol in it so that it's super sessionable. But you're getting all those bright IBU flavoring. You're getting a ton of kind of that just super hop character. It's I love this Ruddlestone Easy IPA. It's great.
Yeah, I'm taking a sniff of it. I'm like, oh, okay, there's an IPA, of course, with Scott here. And I'm going, no. This is crispy.
Cheers.
No, it's cheers. It's
Cheers.
awesome balance in this one.
Yeah.
Cheers to you guys.
Thank you.
Like that's delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yep,
that.
That's good.
Yeah.
This might be my gateway.
I really think it could
You're
be.
the devil.
I know. Well, no, I'm just opening new doors
best
for
kind.
you.
Yeah, opening doors,
Opening doors for the
That's
for
a
your beer
that's a
journey.
light hit of an IPA right off the hop there. That's great.
Yeah, maybe you've got a friend that comes over and that's like I don't like craft beer.
Yeah.
There's still those guys out there. I don't like IPAs. Maybe start them with a grumpy wheat and they're gonna be like, oh, that's really good. I could drink that. And then slide in and Ruddlestone the Easy IPA. And the first sip they're gonna go kind of. That's different, and then but really good, right? Like so, you're not hitting them with a high IBU 7%, IPA, right off the start. But it's again delicious beers. They're all really good. $24.99. Buy two of them, you get another 300 scene points.
Nice.
Spend 100, get 1,000 points. It's a beer flyer. Lots to kind of fill the fridge.
The Mountain Mixer from Grizzly Paw out of Canmore. Really, really good. You going to stick around for the wrap?
Sure.
We got to do like a Vegas debrief and discuss a bunch of things.
Sure.
But do you want to?
Which one do you want?
I'll have Grumpy Bear.
Grumpy Bear.
All I'm gonna
$24.99. Sobe Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. It is the 12 pack. It is the Mountain Mixer. Really, really good. I wanted to say, what was I going to say about the? You said something about. There are still some people out there that are like, craft beer.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you sense that reluctance? Because I feel I've gone more of the way of, like, listen, I like the mainstream beers.
For sure.
They're the old standbys. They're on tap at most establishments. But the supporting local, the experimental aspect of the beer, why do you think there's some people that are reluctant to open themselves up to craft beer?
I think it's just there's lots out there. So if I feel like you go into one of our stores and you stand back and you've got 16 feet of beer,
different colors,
it's
a wall.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of overwhelming, and you don't want to go in and spend $20, get a 4-pack of tall beers and not like them.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's because you feel like you're wasting your money. Right. So people are still scared of trying the new style for fear of hating it. And then you get home and you're watching the game and you pour a beer and you're like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
And that sucks, right? So I think there's still that reluctance. That's why we do this, right? Like we try and get people to have confidence in the ones we're trying. So they can go and buy this mixer pack and say, I'm going to like one of the 4.
Yeah.
And I think once you kind of start to get into it, you'll get confidence in start with one brewer. Start with one, start with this pack, and if you really like the raspberry, then go to another brewery in Alberta with another raspberry, or start with another ale. Like you can start building yourself that way. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of singles in our stores so that we try and, if there's a 4-pack of something that's really new or really unique, like some of these weird beers they've got now,
yes,
you can go in and buy one of them. So you're not investing in $20. You're getting one beer. You can try it. If you like it, you can go back and get the next 4-pack later. So
I love what you did at my Sobeys in Twiller, because there's a little bin of a mishmash of beers now. What was great is because I did buy my brother-in-law the Phillips Advent calendar.
Oh yeah,
but those are exclusive to the coast.
Yeah.
But somehow some of those beers ended up in the
bin.
My brother-in-law didn't share any with me, so but they were in the bin, so I was able to test some of these. They're fantastic.
They are. Phillips Phillips does a really good job.
They are one of my favorite.
Yeah,
beers.
and they experiment a little bit. Like they've got a good core group of beers, but they're trying something new, and they all do, right?
Well, when you go to the original Grizzly Paw in Canmore and sit on the patio in the summer when it's sunny, and you get that the raspberry beaver tail, there's an experience that you have there where you are and the taste of that beer. It's very, very fresh and refreshing. I've done that.
Yeah, go to our stores, but go to the breweries. I'm a big believer that I've always said lots of times I like to go to different breweries and it's the experience of going there. The beer is going to taste different every time. Like if you're having it with a whole bunch of family and celebrating something, the beer is going to taste better than if you're kind of sitting. The experience matters in what you're eating, what you're drinking, and buy this to celebrate with people, and with friends and with family, and it makes a big difference. And you want a good product, and this is it. This is a good product.
The one-offs?
Yeah.
Are those the ones that just like one fell out of a 4-pack? Because that's what I always assumed. Or are they actually curated?
A little bit of both. Both. Sometimes we'll break down like the Phillips Holiday Pack. We'll break that down because it's it's not Advent anymore. It's not Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll break those down and sell them as singles because they're still good beers, but people maybe don't want to spend $70 in February on a mix pack.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll break those down. But a lot of times the singles, we try in our stores to pick the ones that are new, that are unique. To buy a sweet potato maple beer in a 4-pack, it may be a little bit of a stretch, but you might buy a 4-pack or a 12-pack of this and one of those,
right?
To have, So we definitely try and balance the what's in the singles bin. Sure.
I love Napstering beer. I think it's great that they can do that, right? But I got adventurous. I tried the License to Dill.
Yes, that's a good one.
And it was interesting.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
We did that one on Beer of the Week one.
Yeah.
That was one of the more unique beers. It had like a mustardy.
Yeah, it was like Dijon pickle. Like I tasted way more mustard than I did pickle. So I wasn't.
Me too.
I think that kind of shook because I was figuring, still like drinking pickle juice
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, it was mustardy. Then the pickle hit later. But
Yeah, I think Dusty had a problem with that one.
Was there actual? Yeah, that's a weird combination. For whatever reason, have this. I think I'm allergic to Dijon,
Okay.
and like, so I'd be coughing.
So I would not recommend the licensed to dill.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some really
weird.
a bunch of the breweries did this weird beer January, and there was a ton of really neat, really unique. There was meat from which was a brisket beer from Town Square. There was sweet potato maple from Growlery had one. Alley Cat did a pomegranate blue beer. It was like a blue goza.
Saw that one.
There was Polyrhythm did a muddled wine kind of beer, blackberry beer. It was really, really cool. A bunch of them did it. You could go around and get a stamp, and you got a free mug when you completed it.
Do you find that a lot of like the breweries themselves are introducing the nitro into their taps and stuff? Because I know with Town Square, I've been out there and tried their. I think it's the electric orange milkshake. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good
one. I did the comparison with the nitro and without. Huge difference with the nitro. Like
we did a nitro beer on here one time. I think it was Growlery nitro. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, there's breweries experimenting with it. It just it creates the nitro with the smaller bubbles. I mean that's. It creates a really smooth mouthfeel. Really
smooth.
And if you pair it with a really so a lot of times it's with a darker beer.
Yep.
It makes it you get less burpy, you get less gas, and it's just a really smooth beer. Yeah, I like the way they do that.
Yeah, no, that if you get a chance, the Town Square brewery,
Nitro.
and I love going to because every brewery, like when you go into the brewery, it really reflects the beer too. You can kind of see how it matches, right?
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Scott, you
tons
gonna
of fun.
stick around for the wrap?
Sure.
Time to get to the wrap, brought to you by William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team at williamhuff.com, in business since 1972, so you know they are incredible at what they do. And as we enjoy the Mountain Mixer by the Grizzly Paw Brewing Company out of Canmore, the Oilers coming off a loss in Vegas, mini Edmonton disappointed, took the wind out of the sails party-wise. But the boys are back here in studio, and they'll have the hangout right away. I'll have the pregame show at 6:30. Scott, are you as worried as some about that loss?
No, not even a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
So you're okay with 16 wins in a row?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Time to rattle off a new one. Whether you like.
Yeah, I mean,
Start fresh.
I people don't enjoy the result of the game, but they enjoyed the game. Like it was
a fun game to watch.
It was a fun game to watch. Having that, I love feeling because those butterflies and being anxious at a sporting event. There's no other feeling like it. Like I used to get it like 100 times more when I played, obviously, but to get that feeling again, to know you're alive. You know, I don't understand like people that hate. Like when the Oilers aren't just destroying teams, like they want a 7-0 lead after the first period. I'm turning that game off.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be, I want to be entertained. I found that extremely entertaining. They're playing a brand of hockey that's you watch the entire game because you want to see what happens. It's they're playing at a high level.
Yeah, I mean you can see the effort. Yeah. You can you know what I mean? Like it looks hard to play.
Yeah.
And I know obviously it's hard to play, but it looks like they're grinding and they're winning and they look like they're having fun. Like it's just it.
Well, they're getting every team's best game too, right?
Yeah.
Because you know both. That's why that game was so good is because the realization both teams knowing if they don't bring their best, there's the good chance that they're going to get embarrassed. Yeah. Right. So that's what you want.
Last question for Scott. You got the Mountain Mixer at your Super Bowl party this weekend. What else are you complimenting the Mountain Mixer with?
Oh, I mean, I always like a nice little side of whiskey, but
of course. What are you snacking on? Are you snacking on for the Super Bowl?
My son, no, my son's got soccer and he's got a basketball tournament, so we're kind of bouncing around that. And my daughter, I'm sure, will need a ride somewhere, so I'll be listening to it somewhere. But it's wings, it's pizza, it's easy grazing food at the house to watch the game.
Nice.
So 100%.
I like it.
Gage, what are you doing?
I don't know. I might venture
down?
out and see the boys at Century Casino. Other than that, we'll probably just doctor up some wings. I've got a new wing recipe for my air fryer that I use. So I buy the wings, soak them in buttermilk with a mixture of spices and Frank's buffalo wing sauce for the day, and then I've got a breading that I use now. So
go on. We have a couple minutes.
It's Doritos, the cheesy chips with the sweet chili lime. I put all the chips in one bag, seasoned panko, and put it all, and then I crunch it all up into a fine powder, and then I just toss the buttermilked wings in that, throw them in the air fryer for 35 minutes on 360, and
wow,
it's fantastic with a little blue cheese on the side.
Interesting.
I throw the token carrots and
you have to, right?
and
Dress
celery
it up,
on there
with ranch.
No one touched it.
You're going in the kids' lunches the next day.
Yeah. It is the kids' lunch from the day prior, so don't touch it.
Oh my goodness. If you don't have plans, you can join us at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. I think it's sold out or pretty close to being sold out. You might be able to come in and hang out.
Eric
and wander
said
around.
anyone who has reservations, make sure you get there early because they said after 4 o'clock, I believe it was, that you might lose your table. So get there early.
Be there or be square. Scott, one more time, the Mountain Mixer.
$24.99.
$24.99. Scene points.
Yep, 300 when you buy 2, and spend 100, get another 1,000. So we're giving them away all over the place.
Out of the Grizzly Paw from Canmore, absolutely fantastic as always, my friend. A pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Every Friday. Gage, your great work filling in for Eric today. Your weather updates were immaculate.
Thank you.
Trev, stay cool, my friend. Oh, you. All right, that's going to do it for the Nielson Show. Dusty is here in studio. Jay Milne is here in studio. So is Lieutenant Eric and Matthew Iwanek. The Hangout coming up next. The boys are back in town, and we're ready to rock. Join us at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Sunday for the big game. For Scott Laurie, Joaquin Gage, YouTube Trev, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for watching, listening. We appreciate you. Stay tuned for the Hangout. Ciao for now.